morning, Macon, Georgia, and everyone else around the world through the World Wide Web. This is the Morning Roast, live from the Nut House.
Yep.
This is Irv Martinez, along with Derek Barrett, DB here, yours truly, and behind the camera is producer Ed, making karaoke, Einbinder.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Funky Yellow,
Yes.
Willow rather,
I don't think
and
he's out
Prankster Mania.
He's been out there for days. I see him on like 10 different channels.
Oh, really?
It's
Maybe he's dead.
No, I think he's
Maybe.
I think he's spying.
Okay.
You know.
It's 8:04.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's 8:04 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time in Macon, Georgia. It's 70 degrees outside, 70 and sunny with a high of 88 and a low of 70.
It looks gorgeous. Doesn't look like a tornado's going to touch down anytime soon.
No.
What did
no.
you say it was?
Yeah.
How much?
70 degrees.
Yeah, I got
Today's Wednesday, right?
73.4.
What?
Read the chat.
Two.
73.4 degrees Fahrenheit or 23 degrees centigrade. Feels like 73.4 with 100% humidity.
Actually, it
Conditions are
feels
clear.
like 70.
Okay, yeah, it feels like 70. 100% humidity, so so there's a good chance it may rain because there's going to be a lot of moisture.
Yeah, he's going to
Good morning, DS Photo Guy. Good to have you on board. Hope all is well. Have you found the bike? Have you found the thief?
April flowers bring
May
May
showers.
No, it's something like that.
Anyway,
May,
I'm hoping that he finds the bike.
May flowers bring June showers.
Mm-hmm.
Who's getting married this month?
Do you
You
know?
know, everybody gets married in June,
Well,
right?
Well, my parents did.
Why didn't Mama June get married in June?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's a Jewish thing.
I don't
Everybody
know.
that's Jewish gets married in June. The June Jewish wedding.
Yeah.
I guess.
Who the hell?
Who knows?
Trying to start something here that I can't finish.
Start something.
All right.
Good morning, Bean.
Well, we got some news going on, I guess.
Okay, yes.
There's
Yeah,
always
well.
news. And what I wanted to just bring up, you know, at this time in the morning, if you were staying in a hotel or staying anywhere, you know, you'd want to order maybe some breakfast,
Yeah.
right? Now, of course, most of us who can afford it have stayed in hotels where you go downstairs around this time, and they have the breakfast layout, right? Sometimes it starts around 7 and it goes to like 9 o'clock. That's usually 2-hour breakfast.
Okay.
But in New York, it's a little bit different. They don't just leave food out because for whatever reason. They need security around it. It's different. Okay? Well, guess what?
Okay.
What?
They're going to stop serving breakfast at the Hilton Hotel. And unfortunately, for some people, that means they can't have breakfast in bed. They'll have to...
No breakfast.
No breakfast is going to be served starting with the Hilton Hotel. And by the way, I worked in this hotel, so I know this hotel very, very well. And they had top-of-the-line breakfast then and the Waldorf, because the Waldorf and the Hilton are owned by the same people. If you want to go modern, you go to the Hilton. If you want to go more old school, go to the Waldorf. So here we go.
Wow.
Crain's New York Business recently reported that New York Hilton, New York City's largest hotel, will cease offering room service at 1,980 guest room starting August, citing high labor costs and inconsistent demand. The hotel will offer a grab-and-go self-service cafeteria to guests instead. The truth is, hotels don't often make money offering room service. Crain's quoted John Fox, Senior Vice President of PKF.
Especially when
Consult-
Three Stooges is tipping them a nickel.
What?
Yo, you didn't miss it. I played Three Stooges.
No.
They tipped the guy a nickel.
Okay. Anyway, who said, I don't think anyone makes profit on room service because of its labor costs, he said. And then let me just say this. This is so true. Forget about the labor costs. Do you know those freaking tables used to block up because I was in charge of the hallways and housekeeping. And I had all these freaking room service cards in a way with dirty dishes. So that's going to be gone. You're going to get rid of the dishwasher. You're going to get rid of a lot of people.
Wow.
So this isn't just about like you said, it's labor costs. There's a lot of labor involved in this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And this may surprise you, as it was to me, since room service is often staggeringly expensive. TripAdvisor conducted a survey of 4-star hotels in both the United States and around the world and discovered that some pretty insane prices. That club sandwich you want at 1 a.m. in Zurich, it costs $29 on average.
Wow.
Which means some of them cost more. A can of Coke runs almost $6 in Honolulu, which is the highest average price in the United States, but still less than the $7.72 you pay in Oslo. Add a mandatory service fee and delivery charge, and room service looks like a gold mine for a hotel. But even at these inflated prices, the labor costs are too high. Hilton is laying off 55 people. You have to keep enough people on staff to provide room service throughout the day, even though the bulk of the business comes in the morning.
Wow.
So I can see how Hilton execs could decide the room service just wasn't worth it anymore, but I guess their solution, a cafeteria-style eatery, is a depressing alternative to breakfast in bed. And in New York in particular, it seems totally unnecessary. After all, what can't you get delivered here? If I was a general manager in New York Hilton, and then he tells you here's what to do, I do let people order in. Number 2, set up a deal with Seamless Grubhub. What is that? Probably a website.
Grub, yeah.
Yeah, make an application, leave some cutlery in the room, and then that's it. That's their solution. So it is the end of room service, folks, because every other hotel is going to look at Hilton, and they're going to follow the same. They're going to follow that yellow brick road, whatever,
I guess.
down to no room service.
No room service. So I guess they're just gonna have to get something downstairs or go outside the hotel to get something to
In New
eat.
York, all you do is go outside, 200 feet. You'll find a store.
Okay.
So I thought, I knew that room service wasn't making a lot of money, but it's a lot of pressure, And then because we were housekeeping, I was always running into their freaking trucks full of dishes. And you call up, come up, you got to pick up a cart over here. And 2 hours later, that stupid cart was still there.
Wow. That's
So, I mean, even the service sucks. So,
jeez.
Anyway, what else is in the news? Hey, I wanted to start off with some bad news, but not like horror.
Well, okay. Well, I did have some news, but it's kind of...
You got the horror show. Go ahead.
Yeah. There was a man's body found in vacant Macon home. This is from the WMAZ news source. The Bibb County Coroner's Office is trying to locate the family of a homeless man found in a vacant Macon building. The body of 69-year-old Charles Skipper was found this past Friday morning in the building on 6th Street between Poplar and Mulberry Streets. It says this is a vacant building where homeless people live. It's very organized. They have desks and beds, said Bibb County Coroner Leon Jones. Says the gentleman that lives here found another gentleman unresponsive on the floor. So according to Jones, foul play is not suspected. He said Skipper has, quote, and it has an extensive medical history, unquote. Jones says that his department has had a hard time getting in touch with Skipper's next of kin. Anyone with information on the next of kin can call the Bibb County Coroner's Office at 478-624-6314. It's 478-621-6314.
Wow.
And this is not like the first time this has ever happened. I mean, remember there was that dead guy that they found at Hotel Dempsey? But he wasn't homeless. But
Yeah, he wasn't homeless. He lived there. I mean, but, it's funny. I was standing this week downtown while I went to that police. I went to that policeman's little rally that they have for the neighborhood. And the ambulance starts coming down. I'm with a crowd of people, and they say, "Oh, he's going to the Dempsey," because people are so used to the idea that people die at the Dempsey.
Right.
But this is very sad news once again. And the homeless guy. And what was the area again? I'm trying to envision where the building is. I know that area very well. This is Poplar and where?
Between Poplar and Mulberry.
Between Poplar and Mulberry. Hold on, and then where would that be?
Goodness, I want to say...
Because Mulberry is nice, and Poplar... Oh, it's probably down the block from From what? From what's his name?
From
Mike. Nick.
Oh, Nick. Oh, from Roasted. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, in those alleys down.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Definitely that vicinity.
Nick's place is Roasted. That's where we started our show initially.
Mm-hmm.
So Roasted still means something to us.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of the dirt that bore the seat.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Anyway, I got another story. Speaking of death and Jones, the guy Leon Jones is our coroner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, remember David Deacon Jones?
Yeah, David Deacon Jones.
Yeah, the original sackbacker has died.
Yes.
The Hall of Fame defensive end credited with terming the word sack for how he knocked down quarterbacks was 74 years old. I can't believe that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're getting old, kid.
Yeah.
I remember when he was around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you are older. Because he was probably around the time when he played like for the L.A. Rams for like several years, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, he go back to that story. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he used to play for the Rams for a good while. He started off as he was part of the Fearsome Foursome, from what I heard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's right. Actually, you want me to read this story? Or you can read it.
Oh, okay.
Here you go.
Well, he was. It says
You're the sports guy.
Says Deacon Jones was the greatest players of the NFL history. Off the field, he was a true giant, says Redskins manager Bruce Allen, whose father, George, coached Jones with the Los Angeles Rams. His passion and spirit will continue to inspire those who knew him. He was a cherished member of the Allen family, and I will always consider him my big brother. And because sacks didn't become an official statistic until 1982, Jones's total is uncertain. His impact as a premier pass rusher and team leader is not. It says Jones was the leader of the Rams Fearsome Foursome unit from 1961 to 1971.
Damn.
And then played for San Diego, I guess for the Chargers for 2 seasons before finishing his career with the Redskins in 1974. He was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1980 and made the NFL League's 75th anniversary all-time squad. He made the Pro Bowl. Jones actually made the Pro Bowl every year from 1964 to 1970 and played in 8 overall. So wow.
Yeah, and he was wasn't he in a movie or something?
He was
in some comedy or some bullshit like they did with OJ.
I knew Bubba Smith was in those. He was in those Police Academy movies. I know people always kind of
right.
They always get Deacon Jones and Bubba Smith,
even though they don't look alike.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
I guess it's because it's just that black guy that plays football.
Yeah,
they don't take the time to know the guy.
Yeah, they don't know whether or not if it's Bubba Smith or Jim Brown.
Oh, it's one of those guys.
Or Fred Williamson or Deacon Jones. Back then during the 70s, before they had started getting rappers to act, they started getting pro athletes to act and stuff.
But look, this is a far difference of a guy from an era that it was less dominated by internet and all this bullshit that's going on. Well, I love the internet, but it's spurred on. We're going to talk about Turkey later.
Okay.
But that country right now is in an uproar, and if you look at those people, they're the most Americanized looking people in the Middle East.
Oh yeah.
Like they look like us. They don't look like that. Very, what do you call it? Very culturally deep, religious people.
Yes.
They're very sectarian.
Yeah.
Like us. Okay, anyway, so going back to Deacon Jones here. Here's a guy who died with some honor.
Right.
He was a good football player. Jim Brown also. Yes. It's unfortunate what happened to OJ.
Yes.
But it almost set a precedent where most of these football players now are like bad boys.
Yeah.
It's like gangbangers are running the football generation.
You pretty much hit the nail on the head. There was a time being a pro athlete carried a now I wouldn't say a stigma, but it carried not exactly like it wasn't like if you were a doctor or lawyer, even in law enforcement, but it was basically I guess we kind of...
They don't hear us.
Oh, okay. So
Ed, are we frozen? They need to refresh. Yeah, everybody's saying we're frozen.
I'm in there, man. Don't...
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I thought you'd be out here.
They gotta refresh.
Okay.
I heard heard.
Oh,
it.
you're referencing from in there?
I can hear it in there.
Okay, cool. But you know, as I was saying, you know, being, you know, when you're a pro football player, you know, back at least back then, they knew it was a privilege because, for one thing, you know, they knew they had a short time to play there. I mean, they knew that, you know, because back then they weren't getting paid tens of millions of dollars. They didn't get that many endorsements, you know.
You just playing up on its own there. There you go. You're back.
Yeah, I guess we
All
have.
right. We're back now.
Yeah, we're back. I guess
I
we
can't
have.
control the little ones and zeros in the computer.
Are we back now, folks?
Yes.
Somebody
Yes.
say something. Bean, good morning.
Yeah.
By the way, Bean.
I guess we have some universal.
All right,
appeal.
thank you, Asset DJ. Anyway, were you guys hearing our conversation?
Bean says yes.
Well, hi, doll.
How you doing, Bean?
Oh, that may be you. By the way, are we doing okay?
I think it's time to make announcements. I think we're gonna move eventually to the other channel.
Let's not talk about that right now. We're talking about.
I'm about lost it with this channel. Here.
Well, we'll
Okay.
talk about that later.
I got you.
But anyway, we're going back to the
Yeah.
football guy.
Yeah, Deacon Jones, yes, who just recently passed away from natural causes at age 74. Yes, I was saying, you know, Irv is right. I mean, it seems like the professional athlete has been stigmatized as being just some roughneck bad boy, you know, just shut up, get out of my way, and where's my check type of mentality. I mean, back then during the 60s and 70s, even those who were playing at the time, you know. And by the way, O.J. Simpson was probably one of Deacon Jones' contemporaries because he was playing at that time, as well as Jim Brown and Bubba Smith, Dick Butkus, the late Alex Karras, who passed away last year, and I think Bubba Smith, who also passed away last year, and even Fred Dworkin. Well, just to name a few. They knew that they weren't making that much money in the NFL anyway, not nearly as much as they're getting paid now. And these were just defensive players. They're getting a whole lot more money. I mean, maybe the quarterbacks and receivers are probably making more than the defensive players because he was a defensive player.
See, it's all about money today.
Yeah, it's definitely about money.
It used to be about the game.
Yeah. Used to be, yeah.
And maybe it still is about the game.
Yeah.
But could you imagine doing something you like to do and getting paid for it?
Oh, yeah. We wish about it every day.
By the way, Beer Sports Card says, thank you, Beer. Good morning. He says lots of them had 2 jobs.
Well, yeah, because like I said, they didn't get paid much. That's why you saw a bunch of football players like Jim Brown and Dick Butkus and even Fred Williamson, by the way, back during the 70s, they end up in movies and on television all the time. I mean, what's that guy, Fred Dwyer? He was on that show Hunter back one time. Even Fred Williamson, they had no other choice but to try to make it in the movies because they weren't paid as much. And they certainly didn't get that much of a health plan. I mean, even Mike Ditka today and other football players to this very day are still, you know, trying to get better medical plans for NFL players, past and present. I mean, that's why Junior Seau killed himself. He shot himself in the chest and the heart, as well as another football player. I don't know his name right off the bat, but they shot themselves, you know, just in the heart. So people could examine their remains, their body, well, particularly their brain, to check if their massive hits they received or gave during their career had anything to do with possible brain damage. I mean, we know it is now. I mean, it's pretty much conclusive. But they shot themselves to make sure that how severe were those hits and how severe
Wait a minute.
damage.
Is this a true story?
Yeah, this is a true story.
That they killed themselves?
So people
would study their brain.
Yes.
Why did they have to shoot themselves? Couldn't they just take poison?
Well, you know.
Well, maybe the poison would go to their brain.
Yeah, exactly. So they basically shot themselves or get some people to kill them or what have you. So basically,
that's what they called Hitler style. I think they call it study.
Yeah, I guess
research.
Yeah, because you know, they knew that the NFL players don't have that much of a medical plan. when they're playing, and people don't think about how severe these hits are and how much of a toll does it take on the body as well as the head and brain in later years, especially years if not decades after they have retired.
Yeah.
And it's a sad situation. They have to go to that point. They have to commit suicide to see how jacked up my brain is. I have them seeing double and whatnot, and because of those hits I received or the hits that I gave to people, and just show how severe the brain damage, the level of brain damage.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's crazy though that they did that. I mean, once again, it proves my point. I mean, they're all going crazy.
Yeah.
Football players, and I think it's so much stress on them. When this life is already so stressful, that these guys now have to think of the stress. They have to bang into each other. They have to go out in the field. They have to be seen by the public. There's so many elements to this that adds to any man's stress.
Right.
That a lot of these guys, they're able to handle it with their brawns, but their brains can't handle it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you have a lot of downfall of these football players. I mean, I may be wrong, but it just seems like an epidemic.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I didn't ever remember seeing Deacon Jones play during his years playing for the Rams, though. But I do remember him in the Redskins. I will say I didn't remember him that much playing when I was a kid growing up because I was born in '69, so. The only way I knew about Deacon Jones was from the light beer commercial, and I'm sending a link to that right now.
Right. Well, anyway, the chatters are saying, ask the DJ that money overrides the passion of some people. That's true. And good morning, Edward Mampa. Be a Sports God says a lot of their players now wouldn't want their kids to play.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Stress can be controlled. Actually, who. Matter of fact, my own dad, he didn't want me to play football. He didn't want me to play any contact sport. He wanted me to be like, I guess maybe like run track or something, or play something like tennis or something like Arthur Ashe or somebody, somewhere where I wasn't going to get hit or something. Not football, because my dad used to say, I'm not going to want you to play football. I had an uncle who played football. He died dead. He got smashed in a...
A lot of these guys, whether it's boxing or...
Yeah, of course my dad didn't tell me that back then when his uncle died of, from some weird football play accident. He didn't tell me forgot to tell me they didn't have, shoulder pads and face masks.
Yeah, because he never been to a game at that time. Yeah. By the way, Edwin Mampa said, stress can be controlled. Ask you know who.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Deacon Jones again. We're going back. Recap. Deacon Jones dead at the age of, what was it?
74.
74. He's an old guy.
Number 75 for the Rams.
Yeah, so 1980. That's during Reagan.
Deacon?
Yeah, David.
I thought he was a deacon. I'm thinking.
No, his nickname was Deacon. David Deacon Jones.
Isn't a deacon a clergyman?
Yeah, so to speak.
I thought a pastor.
I thought OJ was orange.
The pastor's on top. He leads the church. Deacons are kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's on top.
Yeah.
What else is in the news?
Well, as far as like news, I guess somewhat entertainment wise and somewhat local.
Good.
I
got some entertainment.
Actor Aaron Paul visits Macon Austin Childers. Breaking Bad star, AMC's Breaking Bad star.
Okay, now just give us a recap, because this guy,
Aaron Paul.
Yeah, this guy, right?
Yeah, he plays opposite Bryan Cranston from the Emmy Award-winning show Breaking Bad on AMC.
Okay.
Breaking Bad actor Aaron Paul recently returned to Macon to visit Pine Point Hospice on Peak Road. Paul and his new bride visited Austin Childers, the 22-year-old who graduated from First Presbyterian Day School in 2009. He is battling a rare mitochondrial disease. The actor made his first appearance in Macon this April to fill the Need for Speed earlier this year, the eponymous movie adaptation of the popular video game. So he came by to visit someone from the Pine Point Hospice on Peak Road. Usually when they have a hospice, they must be terminal. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he wouldn't be visiting if it wasn't something serious.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be making the press.
Right.
So now this person has what?
His wife. He and his wife came to visit the patient, right?
Yeah, and the patient has what?
Battling a rare mitochondrial disease. They don't know
What the hell is that?
We don't know. They didn't specify the name of it, but it has to be something bad. I mean, because if you're in a hospital, it has to be something pretty much, terminal.
The HIPAA laws.
Mm-hmm.
You're not, well, unless the patient says, yes, put it on, let it be known what I have,
Mm-hmm.
they're not allowed to do that.
Okay, I see.
Well, speaking of something terminal, or maybe, do you know this guy Miguel? He's a big something.
Yeah, he was the one who tried to jump over somebody.
Oh, no, don't tell the story. Tell me who Miguel is.
He's a singer, right? He's this R&B singer.
He's an R&B singer. Where is he famous?
I don't listen that much music.
This guy, he's famous. His name is Miguel.
Yes.
And he was on stage.
Right.
Dancing. And he took a leap.
Mm-hmm.
And he landed on some girl's head.
Oh, okay.
Well, now that girl is in trouble.
Okay.
The girl who took Miguel's leg drop to the head at the Billboard Music Awards, so it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Last month, suffered serious trauma. Symptoms consistent with brain damage.
Ooh.
The victim's lawyer tells TMZ. As you recall, Miguel took a flying theatrical leap across the stage and landed a thunderous force on Kayati
Shah's head.
Kayati Shah's head.
She's of Indian descent, I think.
Okay. Vip Bola, Shah's lawyer, said some of the difficulties she's experiencing are cognitive to the nature and lead to suspicion of a neurological head injury. Bola says BMI responded to the accident with a pathetic gesture, an ice pack designed to soothe the bruised elbow. The attorney insists his client should have been rushed to the hospital. Bola tells us his client is waiting for test results from the neurologist. When the results are in sometime next week, Kayati will decide if a lawsuit is in cause. Calls to Miguel and BMA producers were not returned. There he is. Now, he's going to get sued. Either way.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that was not just a shot across the bow here.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You landed on somebody's head.
He landed on somebody's head. And, remember that guy that used to be I'm trying to remember. He was the announcer for, he just died 2 years ago. He hit his head on a plane. He was a very famous announcer, the one that used to scream like me. Remember him? OxyClean guy.
OxyClean guy. The Billy Mays.
Billy Mays, thank you. That's our resident genius here. He knows all the names of all these people that I could care less about.
From infomercials. Because 9 times out of 10, I probably played his infomercials over on Fox.
Well, remember when he hit himself on the head coming out of the plane?
Oh, that's what...
well, that was the story. He came out of the plane. He hit himself on the head because he was too tall or some bullshit. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, the guy is dead like 3 days later from brain hemorrhage.
Oh, okay.
That's not what they're saying here.
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying she had a brain hemorrhage. But here's the thing. At the moment that this occurred, they should have sent her to the hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, Miguel, you messed up.
Yes.
Because giving her an ice pack ain't cutting it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get hit on the head, you go and get some help right away. I don't care. Because it could be that you have, even a small leak.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with a small leak on your tire?
It flattens.
Yeah, your tire eventually flattens, no matter how small the leak.
Yeah.
If you got any blood or bleeding or any kind of a bruise that's causing any kind of bleeding, which is a possibility, you should go to the doctor. I know that's what I would do.
Yeah, I was reading what Fat Vinny the Bully said. He says she will settle for a bill which requires all patients of R&B shows to wear hockey helmets. Wow.
Yeah.
What a hit. Anyway, but seems to be that brain damage has to be must be a really big focus of our stories. Because actually, speaking of my head injuries, I think on last night, I was watching, WWE's Monday Night Raw. I mean, I know this is not sports yet, but since it's fake sports, so it really doesn't count. But Triple H received some type of head injury, I think, due from the week before last when they had their last pay-per-view special, WWE's Impact. I think it's the last pay-per-view special where Triple H had a fight with Brock Lesnar. And
this is wrestling, man.
Yeah, pro wrestling.
Yeah, well,
and he got smashed. Yeah, he got smashed in the face by a jaw, face by a sledgehammer, which is usually one of Triple H's one of his little slide weapons that he always, foreign objects, usually take on a wrestling match. And he hit it. I guess it didn't do that much of a damage to him, at least not that much. But it wasn't until like the week before, that following Monday, which was last Monday, a week from yesterday, he was fighting against this new guy coming up. I don't know if you heard of him. His name is Kurt Axel. He's the son of the late professional wrestler Kurt Hennig, a.k.a. known as Mr. Perfect. So yeah, Rocco. Yeah, wrestling is for retards and 12-year-olds. Yeah, you don't have that much of a not that many pro wrestlers live to old age though. Not that.
Well,
but he had to go to the hospital at the end of last week's Raw because he was fighting Kurt Axel and he had trouble standing up and it was it seemed like he had some type of concussion. And he was arguing with Vince McMahon, who's the head of the head of WWE Entertainment, and his wife Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. Basically, they had second thoughts that he shouldn't even wrestle last night, which he didn't.
He did, right?
No, he didn't because they actually got a doctor's orders that no. Even
though
they cleared
stopped him.
Yeah, they stopped him. Even though he supposedly had a doctor's order that he was able to.
Because anything would have happened to him, once they hit him with that doctor's note, anything would have happened to him, screw you. You don't, you're not going to get compensated.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like...
let's be serious, folks. That's the reason why they did it. It's all about money. Even though his daughter or whomever, his wife, is saying, oh, don't do it, baby.
Yeah, who's basically
and not only that, his
daughter.
Like, shit, I could wind up in trouble myself.
Yeah,
If anything happens. By the way, let's go back to some of what the chatters were saying early on. Fat Vinny said that Miss Feinstein is going to do she's going to bring some kind of Dianne Feinstein will introduce a bill today to ban R&B shows.
R&B shows? Why is that? I mean,
that's a very interesting subject right there to touch upon. Then Bean says Feinstein is no Einstein.
Yeah. So what
she will settle for a bill which requires all patrons of R&B shows to wear hockey helmets.
Oh, yeah.
Are you serious?
No, he was joking. But I see it. Yeah, Fat Vanny says I was being sarcastic because I was getting ready to Google that. I was getting ready to Google that, Fat. I mean, for real. But I guess it's because of the thing with what Miguel did, trying to leap over, some chick, over in the Billboard Awards, and obviously, if you're gonna do that, stretch first. You just don't jump cold. You gotta stretch. You gotta get yourself limber before you do something like that. That's too risky. If you're either gonna hurt somebody else, or you're lucky he didn't hurt himself.
Rocco says Fat Vinny shows up at an R&B show and he's dog meat.
Yeah,
that's funny. All right, let me see. I feel a large damage suit coming down the pike. That's from Bean. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. This kid, how much money do you think he had? I mean, I know he's very famous in Latin America. I know for a fact he's famous in Latin America. It's just he's kind of like that woman that died the other day in an airplane crash. She was very, very famous in the country, and she was just about to come out. He's one of those guys.
Okay.
And Rocco says, wrestling is for retards, 12-year-old. Wrestling is a fake sport. It's just for entertainment. Yes, it's all scripted. Wrestling's just right for America. Fake and stupid. That's Rocco.
And Ella Macon, you must know about you must watch WWE Raw too, about the the 3 levels of hell that the wrestler Ryback and the WWE champ John Cena is supposed to be going for each other. I think sometime. I think this month. I think the wrestling match of pay-per-view. They're supposed to have 3 levels of hell that Ryback versus Cena. They have
3 levels of hell.
Yeah, this type of match. They have a cage match, a tables match. Basically, just slam people on their back through a table.
You're right. They are retarded.
Yeah.
Isn't that what people who are very mentally ill and they freak out? Isn't that the shit that they do?
And an ambulance.
Isn't
match.
that what you're always afraid that's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the president spoke this week.
Okay.
He's trying to change the subject.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him. From this IRS and all this bullshit, and he came out with Glenn Close.
From Fatal Attraction?
Yeah, and Glenn Close is some spokeswoman now.
Wow.
For people with mental illness. And you know mental illness, we talked about it on the show. We talked about bipolar.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a subject that we always kind of bring up. I think it's important.
Yeah. That's very true.
And the president went out and had this big press conference talking about how America needs to focus in on the mentally ill. And so...
I guess speaking of pro wrestling...
pro wrestling, you gotta be mentally ill not to overlook the fact that it's a fake sport with a bunch of nutcases now beating each other with chairs and tables and bats, right?
Mm-hmm.
And flying across the room, a 275 to 300 pound guy flying across the room from ropes and beating the crap out of each other, even though it's all fake, but it's still...
Yeah.
There's still some...
But yeah, that's what I understand. Like, people, well, it's fake, but yeah, they don't have no problem watching hockey, which isn't fake. You know what I mean?
Hockey isn't fake. You know, hockey isn't fake. Baseball isn't fake. Football isn't fake. Boxing isn't fake. But
MMA
wrestling
isn't
is fake.
Okay.
Okay? Because the outcome is never, it's a storyline. That's what they sell, stories. Because if it was a reality thing, it'd be boring as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. That's true. Yes, we got some new people here. Like,
well, why don't we go down the list and say hello to everybody?
Yes, hello, Because 77, DS Photo Guy, Edward Mampa, The Bean, Ellen Megan. Hello, how you doing? First Glenn's Room, Acid DJ, Ashley 34, Beer Sports Cards, Concrete Titties. That's her
I like
name.
that one.
DB
She must be a rollerblader.
Yeah, DB Cooper, Factor 52, Funky Dello, Miss Woozy, Mr. Dumpster Baby, Dumpster Baby, Prank Master Pranks, Rocco, Too Much,
Woo!
Fat Vinny, The Bully, Planet X, Guest 395, Guest 682, and Guest 742.
Well,
wow.
welcome all. Thank you so much for being on. We're number 1 right now, at least.
Okay.
Hey, we're also on the first page of
You know.
Justin TV. I got him streaming the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
tell me, check between the two. And tell me.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you're able to get it, definitely check out Justin TV. We're being simulcast from there as well as Vaughn Live.
Justin TV, The Moaning Road. I think the video is a lot better, clearer.
Yeah,
and,
well,
and there's no glitches. Vaughn keeps shutting down.
well, I mean,
you're yelling
I
at
don't
me
want to.
all the
I don't
time.
want to jump around yet because we
Well,
already have a
I'm
good
tired of
audience.
getting yelled at every time it glitches.
Yeah.
Every time
Okay.
this thing burps, you bark at me.
Just hang out with us. And such a dog. Anyway, so
football season won't start till till September, right? College football.
Yeah, fucking less about football.
Okay.
Bunch of guys running around, chasing each other after a oval-shaped piece of pigskin, patting each other on the ass.
yeah, they do that a lot, don't they?
Copperfield.
I bet you they all look over the shower and shit at you. You know, I always said that. I think every person in the history of the world is gay because they always gonna look.
To a
I don't
certain
see-
extent.
Oh, please.
But they got to be somewhat
Guys
straight,
go in
otherwise the
room
human
naked,
race
they're
would
like
be
looking.
extinct.
Whatever. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, come.
And if the guy stands in front of a buck naked, the guy's always gonna look down. It's
Well,
just
people look
human
at
instinct.
people look at car crashes. That don't mean they want to drink a case of Jack Daniels. Let me speed 100 and hit something. You know,
Or be that car guy.
Miss Woo. Oh my goodness, Miss Woo's is crazy. So what did she say? What was it? Miss Woozy said, Derek, can you institute a Jerry Springer format now that Ann is gone? Like you whop one and call them names. As Edward Mama said, what we have to look to is the gang violence. Yeah, that's true. That's really something.
Yeah,
that's something you really don't want to see on TV.
No.
It says, DB Cooper says, not only that, but they rehearse the matches during the week. Oh, really? Professional wrestlers? Huh? How about that?
Yeah.
Bean asked me, did you see the movie The Wrestler, Derek? LOL. No, not yet. I'll definitely try to check it on Redbox or something, or maybe if Ed plays it on the matinee, maybe. Who knows? I'll definitely. I've heard of it. Mickey Rourke got a nomination for it, for Best Actor for it, an Oscar nom for it. So I'll definitely check it out.
Well, we got a Miss Woozy on.
Mm-hmm.
And she says WWF is a sham. Nical 3000 is on, and he says freedom. Miss Woozy comes back, says that's why USA loves it.
Oh, USA, the TV channel, yeah.
Yeah. Bean says men look. Women do not look at each other. Men do. Well,
women do not look at each other.
I don't know. There's a lot of lesbians that I know that would argue with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Especially, men have to compare their manhood. Yeah, but women don't usually compare their womanhood like that. I mean, obviously, people don't watch the Logo Network. You know, that's the gay channel, TV channel. Whoever watches on TV.
Anyway.
But anyway, the USA, WWF. Actually, WWE now. The other WWF, the World Wildlife Fund, kind of body slammed them in the courtroom for the title of having the WWF initials in their organization. About several years ago. That was like over a decade ago. But that's a good story to talk about. You know, that'll be something.
Anyway, Miss Woozy must know you, Derek. She says that she's seen you.
Looking longly at ITV.
Yeah, what is that?
What is ITV? What mean?
What?
Is that a porn channel? I don't think so.
Is that Indian television? I mean, I used to watch some Indian
programming
on
longingly
TV.
at ITV. Anyway, all sports in the United States are controlled by Vegas and the mob money. Speaks volume. Mr. Dumpster Baby says, Mickey Rourke is an IRA terrorist funding asshat. He deserves to hit rock bottom. There is no justice that his career came back.
Wow. Edward Mumpa says the gay people are what God wants in this planet because they tip through to the tulips. What you been drinking, Ed? Edward.
My brother's crazy, I swear to God. Some of his remarks are so upbeat. Okay, here we go. Best line when you see a hot girl in a tub. What's your problem? Women look at each other and judge while dressed in a crazy way.
Yeah.
DB Cooper says, I've never compared my manhood with another man.
No. Okay. Besides, it's too much.
Never had a sword fight, in other words. Okay.
Yeah, it's too much competition, you know. I mean, plus nowadays you have to worry about, you know, you get, like you said, you got to worry about, you know, gay women, lesbians and stuff, because it's already hard enough as it is trying to find somebody as a, you know, as a guy, as a man. I mean, now you have to compete against women too. Like, geez, you can't even win on that
Get
part.
it in stereo. Yeah. Let's see.
Wow. We're down 38 viewers now.
Okay,
that's great.
But we hit the 40 mark, you said right earlier. Wow, but that's still good.
LeBron, this is from Guest. LeBron and the Heat were told to lay down until the 7th game when the money was even on the Pacers. That's an interesting insight.
Yeah, very insider. Because I always thought that they were able. I mean, because the Pacers, you know. I mean, they weren't saying they weren't a bad team, but
wasn't there something in sports that it was fixed?
You talking about like the 1918 World Series?
Well, they accused Muhammad Ali of a fix. I think it was against Ken Norton.
Oh,
if I could remember right. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bad fight. Ali was already older. And it just felt fixed. Even my dad said it. My dad loved Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And my father was saying, no, I think that was fixed.
Okay. D.B. Cooper says the Sonny Liston fight, but that was like back in the mid-'60s, right? Wow.
Sonny Liston. Well,
guess 745 says all sports are fixed. The pros anyway. Well, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't say all of them, but I mean, I will say this. I wouldn't be surprised that this past Super Bowl was fixed. I mean, especially when that lights went out all of a sudden. That dude got sacked.
Yes. Oh, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
and all of a sudden, just before that dude got sacked, bam, the quarterback.
The lights went out.
The lights went out. You heard a noise go, and then bam, the lights went out. It's like, somebody got hit on the side of the head.
Be a Sports Card says, so if that's true, why did the NBA let the Spurs sweep Memphis if they wanted more games to make more money?
That's a very good question. Well, Memphis Grizzlies are a young team. They're an expansion team. So I guess they wanted to see some fresh faces, but at the same time they knew the Spurs, who's been to the ball many, many times, they were gonna, just spank him all up and down the court. So I guess they just want to at least have some fresh faces on the screen, on the camera. At least won't be the same old teams like before, like the Lakers, the Celtics.
The Bean thinks everything. She says the fixtures on everywhere, starting with the White House. Fat Vinny says, in the NBA, the refs stole the game. It's all about the refs now.
Yeah, Fat Vinny, you may have a point, because there have been a lot of over the last year or so. There've been a lot of NBA refs that have been fined themselves, or if not fines, had jail time for taking bribes or making false or bad plays, bad calls on certain plays and stuff, like who got fouled or who got charged or whatever. And that's it. I wouldn't put it past them. That maybe if not the game itself of the players being bribed or whatever, but there's a very good chance I wouldn't put it past that the refs have been paid off as well. A good number of it.
Well, too much sense. Don't you think you can fix team sports for obvious reasons? Mm-hmm. Dumpster Baby says, hard to say that Ali's fight, going back to Ali, fixed or were fixed. The man took a pounding from Foreman. Mm-hmm. He played the ropes for half the fight.
Right.
He's gone down and it would have been called a fix. Ali just wanted to prove he could take a pounding. That's true, especially in that particular fight. He did take a pounding. That's the reason why when they called it that he won the fight, everyone was saying, but they kicked the shit out of him in that fight. And I'm trying to remember who the fighter was. And Ali held on to the title, obviously.
Yes.
But the fighter that he fought really beat the hell out of him. It wasn't Spinks, because Spinks took it from him.
Right? Yeah, he took it from him. Then back in February 1978, and they actually had the rematch back in September, like about 6-7 months later. I remember that very vividly because I was really upset about that, because I remember I used to get nightmares of Leon Spinks because that dude had no teeth. I mean, I saw a picture.
Yeah, he was ugly.
Oh yeah, they had a picture.
I mean, you go from Ali, this guy, perfect Adonis.
I'm so fast and I'm so pretty.
And you go to Leon Spinks, boy. That's a real.
Yeah, that's like.
That's a real drop in the bucket.
That's like night and day, man. This total one. I actually saw the cover when he won the match and stuff. It had a picture of Leon in his name, and just he's like all this done gone. All this done gone. He's just like a human jack.
It's like a freaking nightmare. Yeah, winning Ali. Anyway, moving on. Talking about pit bulls.
Oh, okay.
That's what he was like. Remember that story we were talking about with the two pit bulls and mauled a girl? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? They're going to be charged.
Okay.
Remember they said they haven't charged them yet? The owners that left the dogs in the yard, they were not home. Mm-hmm. Dogs got out, jumped a 10-foot fence, 8 to 10-foot fence, and the police had to shoot these dogs.
Yes, because they were attacking this elderly woman.
They were attacking the elderly, and then they started attacking the police. Mm-hmm. When the police
that's scary, man. When a dog can actually climb the fence, that's some really scary stuff.
Yeah, so they decided, of course, to charge the couple. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says they've cited the dog owner after an attack that seriously injured a woman last week. They say 20-year-old Amber Tripp was cited Monday on 2 counts of failing to restrain her pit bulls and 2 counts of failing to inoculate them. So the dogs weren't even, they had no shots. That's crazy. Those dogs reportedly escaped their pen last week while Tripp was on vacation. The Sheriff's Department said it happened Thursday at a trailer that Tripp rents at 5411 Houston Road. Bibb County deputy shot and killed the pit bulls after they attacked Tripp's neighbor, 69-year-old Margaret Nicholas. She suffered wounds to the face, neck, legs, and arms. Both charges against Tripp are misdemeanors. The sheriff's office says she was served around 4 p.m. Monday.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's
Well,
good to know.
You know, you're going to have a dog. You better be responsible. She's on vacation. So who is going to feed these mongrels? Who is going to feed these dogs?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, maybe
She's going on vacation.
maybe her neighbors or
Well, why weren't
or
the
relatives.
neighbors there to watch the dog?
I
If the
have no
dogs
idea.
got out, there was nobody home.
That's true.
That's like
And it-
leaving little babies unattended.
Yeah, you're right. You are so right. A lot of, carnivorous, chew your arm off babies.
So what do they leave, a pile of food?
That's what people tend to do. They have one of those big food dispensers that
I
they
don't
do.
think so.
where
They didn't
just
even
push the dog,
inoculate these dogs. Probably had dirty old pans, some bullshit pan that they had that they weren't using, and they threw it outside with a bunch of dog food and some water. And didn't even bother to chain these dogs up,
Right.
which is against the law, by the way.
yeah,
I
yeah,
believe in
tethering.
Macon. You're not supposed to put a dog on a lead or any kind of a
Well, you're not
leash.
supposed to tether them. I think.
Tether them. That's correct. That's correct. Anyway,
Because they could basically choke themselves to death.
well, even though they're misdemeanors, she's probably going to get a nice hefty fine, and she's probably going to have to cover the medical. If that woman is smart enough, she'd sue, and at least get the medical coming back to her.
Right. You're definitely right about that. Wow. I was just reading what says some Nikkei 3000, I guess, says that some old lady feeding pigeons in Central Park was mauled and molested by a group of gangster pigeons. Yeah, you need,
Listen, and you
need to
talk
get off
about that
stuff.
shit. In New York City, I was walking down City Hall one day, and I had just finished buying the shirt. I swear to God. It was the first day I was wearing the shirt. You know, in New York, you're well aware of how you dress. So it was very special to me. Today, I could give a rat's ass about clothes and all that, but at that time, I did. So I'm wearing this beautiful yellow polo shirt. It was a real polo. Next thing you know, I'm going in a building and check. I get bird shit on my shirt. And I swear to you, I washed that shirt 1,000 times. That stain never went away.
Wow.
It never went away. It turned gray. It turned the shirt gray from all the acid that is in bird shit in New York City.
Dang, that's bad. That's really bad. I remember I got crapped on my hand by a freaking pigeon. I was in between classes, and there was some person, and they were asking me, "Hey, do you know where I could go to the Reed Hall or something?" I guess they were getting ready to move to another dorm, and they were like saying, "Where is it?" Well, yeah, you just take a right down there, and all of a sudden, you turn the corner right there, and bam, right on my hand. It's like, oh man, I was talking about trying to run to find the nearest bathroom, because you're right, it is acidic. It's like, come on, where the bathroom? Where the bathroom? It burns. It burns. It burns. It's like, jeez.
Jesus. Well, that shit burned into my shirt. Oh, I'm serious. And then you go to some areas in New York, and there's just bird shit everywhere. And so they started bringing in, besides the crow, they brought in, I can't remember what the hell it was. There was a bird that they brought in, and that kills pigeons and eats them up. Trying to remember. Ravens? Am I right? I don't remember what they brought in New York. A bird that they brought this breed in. And that's how they
Crow,
fought them all, because you can't shoot at every bird. I mean, there's thousands of them in New York, not millions.
Yeah, people call them, Yeah, I heard someone in New York used to call pigeons basically rats with wings, but and feathers. It's like Mister. It's crazy, man. Speaking of crazy, it's getting close to 9 o'clock right now. It's almost 8:59. Yeah, it's 72 and still sunny in Macon, Georgia, with a high of 88 and a low of 70. But there may, it said 100% moisture. There may be some rain, some showers later on in the day, later on in the afternoon. It's getting close to 9 o'clock, so, you know, do you think it's too early or right on time for a break?
Let's do a break.
Okay.
We did sports this morning, so you got
Well,
OD'd on that.
well, just
we still
a little
got to
bit.
catch up later.
Actually, we haven't, we haven't really gotten this, but we just briefly, just certain parts. I haven't.
Yeah, statistics.
Yeah, statistically.
Yeah.
I still got some parts. I didn't talk about the Game 7 of the NBA game between Miami Heat and the Pacers
what happened
last
there?
night. Yeah. Well, I'll get into it in the next hour. We'll have sports early in the hour, in the second hour, and have some other stories, especially the story that I talked about yesterday, that I teased about some stuff about this teacher. It's getting close to almost 9 o'clock on the dot.
Yes.
Yes, it's close to 9 o'clock. You're watching the Morning Roast
Live.
from the Nut House, simulcast through Vaughn Live and through Justin TV. We'll be right back. After these messages.
We're going to go to break. What the hell? We'll waste a minute looking at each other.
No, I can't pop the controller for here, man. So I'm just gonna say that's my last time.
This Cowboys thing. Justin got those blocks.
I'm gonna do my movie.
Oh.
Roses are red,
Didn't
violets are
color
blue.
right.
Light beer from Miller, I love you. You got a third less calories.
Welcome back, everyone. We're coming up on 6:49, and what was meant to be an adorable Cheerios commercial featuring an interracial couple and their daughter generated such a strong racist backlash on YouTube that the comment section had to be closed.
The ad had received more than 1,600 likes and more than 500 dislikes as of last night. Prior to the closure, the comment section had been filled with references to Nazi racial genocide, and according to Adweek, the commentators on the serial's Facebook page also said they found the commercial disgusting and that it made them want to vomit.
It's really sad because this is a national corporation like Cheerios who was just trying to make, a commercial that has family values. Yeah, and it was funny. I mean, the little girl went and poured them all over her dad. And in today's world, you would think that you could see past the racial lines, but unfortunately, it calls attention to the fact that racism still exists.
And those are such strong words just to say that made me want to vomit. I mean, that's some serious stuff right there,
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a friendly, kid-friendly commercial with a good positive spin on it as to we're all equal, you can do this in this day and age.
Obama's plan to Islamicize America.
Here's your evidence
Go
then.
back.
No,
At a meeting of the David Allen Lewis Eschatology Club a year ago in Springfield, Missouri, where I was the featured speaker, I was told by the organizers that in the previous monthly meeting, Pastor Don Jones made a disturbing statement about President Barack Obama's plan to Islamicize America. Jones went to one of his orphanages in Haiti after the massive earthquake there and met with a senior UN official, who said Obama had told him that the US would be a Muslim country by 2016, or by the end of his second term in office. While it may seem far-fetched, it is not beyond the realm of possibility. First, Obama's biological father was a Muslim, which makes the president a Muslim. His stepfather was an Indonesian Muslim who raised Obama as a Muslim in a mosque and madrasah, Islamic religious school, in Indonesia until age 11. His half-brothers in Kenya are Muslims. My wife Rachel, who is a radio and TV monitor in the Arabic language for Israel Radio in Jerusalem, has picked up many broadcasts indicating that the Arabs see Obama as a Muslim. In one broadcast prior to the 2008 elections, the Saudis claimed that we will have a Muslim in the White House. Another Saudi broadcast said, Obama's job is to terminate the Shiite threat, Iran, and the Jewish threat, Israel. And if he cannot do this, he should pack his bags and go home. America has always been a Judeo-Christian nation,
Asking you a
but
question. What's this about? What are you getting so upset about?
Okay, what about this? How could a 10-year-old boy be so out of control that cop...
That's what Edward sent me yesterday. Damn.
All right,
And
here
we
we go.
are back. It's 9:05 a.m. 9:05 a.m. You're watching the Morning Roast live from the Nut House. This is Irv Martinez right here, and yours truly, DB. Right, it's 72 degrees right outside of Macon, Georgia, with a high of 88 and a low of 70 degrees. But don't let the sunlight fool you. It's gonna somehow maybe a slight chance of rain because of the humidity.
We are back, and interesting subject that was just brought up, the Cheerios, and we'll talk about that video about Islamicizing America bullshit about Obama. But we'll take them on each one briefly. Okay?
Okay.
Let's start with the Cheerios ad. What do you think about that? I mean, this is something that I've known based on being on Facebook since Facebook first arrived. Okay? And that some of the shit that's said on Facebook is so outlandish and outrageous that, you know, you get to see people's hearts for what they are by what they write. Here's a commercial, literally, that was almost harmless, if not harmless.
It wasn't. It was harmless.
It was harmless.
Really, yeah.
It was harmless. And, yeah, people found hate out of it. So, what do you think about that?
Well, no, it was. Well, they said they were
It
disgusting.
exposed people's hate.
Yeah, exposed people's hate. Yeah, they were so disgusted. I mean, as the reporter said in the news footage, that the people were so disgusted that they actually had Cheerios or whoever owns Cheerios, General Mills, had to close their YouTube channel, or at least that commercial's comments on. They had to disable them because they were so vitriolic and offensive.
Rancid and violent.
Yeah, one person said it made her want to vomit.
Yeah,
it was so disgusted. And I remember I was just checking. I put a link to that commercial to you, as well as to my channel and my Facebook page. I think I got like close to like at least 6 or 7 comments about it. And
why don't you read some of them?
Okay, John, let's see, Matthew Wetmore and John D. Ruya both like the link that I put on my page.
Yeah.
John said it was a great commercial, and I said, and I agreed. Yeah, it's a great commercial. I just hated the unwanted controversy that they had. Not even needed. And Will Grammer says people are still living in the past. SMH, shaking my head. You know, Marcus Knox basically saying, "What did I tell you? They're worse than the KKK." You know, I guess referring to a good number of the people who hated it were probably worse than the KKK. And he also adds, I wonder how many of those outraged black females are avid viewers of Scandal.
Yeah.
Referring to the story about the character Olivia Pope, played by the African-American actress Kerry Washington, who plays the presidential aide who has an affair with the President of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Edward, your brother, is actually true. Says Derek is right. The commercial is sweet and full of values. Just hate the white and black hate. And Matthew Whitmore, who also who liked the link, he had put in he had the biggest, the largest comment. He says, then those racist white bread fools and insecure my ass, more like unsatisfied and lonely black women, are the reason that even after 50 years of social progress, we still act stagnant toward change. By the way, my wife is black, and if Cheerios wanted to use us for a commercial, I'd do it in a minute. So to all you haters and haters of progressiveness, I only have one thing to say: eat a dick.
Well, Dr. Baby says, give people the freedom of speech. They use it to spread hate. Mm-hmm. Here in the UK, we have a right to say anything as long as it is true and isn't hateful. I'd rather have that than the freedom to say anything I like.
Okay.
And
Nakai. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll just.
Tom says, well, freedom of speech should imply only one exception.
Oh.
And that are opinions that assert freedom of speech itself, like negationism, fascism, communism, Muslim extremists, and racial supreme racism, whatever. Tom. Do black sitcoms have token white guy? Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. Well, the Jeffersons.
In the older days.
Yeah.
They always had the maid. Or they had, remember Buckwheat and the Little Rascals?
Oh, yeah. But you're talking about white sitcoms. You're talking about white sitcoms. Had token black people. I guess, well, the Jeffersons.
But the Jeffersons was in reverse.
Yeah, it was in reverse, yeah.
Well, but the Jeffersons were the spinoff.
Yeah, Jeffersons
Lionel was the token
black guy.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Lionel was the token.
Well,
and then
right.
Jeffersons was the spinoff.
Yeah,
Right.
and then they had the token white people. You know, they had Mr. Bentley. You know, hello, Mr. J, Mrs. J, and
well, this is an interesting view here. Guest 75 says the KKK was invented by the United States government to keep the black race on the wraps after the Civil War.
I didn't know they were connected to the U.S.
Well,
government.
and not only that,
I thought they were just a bunch of disgruntled Confederate soldiers who were pissed off that they lost and just started their own little organization.
And they started right after the Civil War, didn't they?
Yeah, 1866 by Nathan Bedford Forrest.
maybe he's right in some weird way. I mean, they were feeding off of what people were feeling anyway.
Yeah.
And so they just kind of, made it extreme.
Yeah, that's true. Edward Mama says, I hate when they all blame and say, goodness, the thing just jumped. What is it? I was trying to, I hate when they all blame and say that only whites are racist and it's not true. Well, yeah. Well, and you have a point. Yeah, I mean, there are some racist black people, but it's, much ado about nothing. I mean, yeah, it's free to be racist. It takes money to discriminate.
Well, it does. And Nical, look at this.
Yeah.
Nical 3000, I guess it's telling his age a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see a revised Fab detergent commercial with the Chinese man and Native American ancient colonial secret. Remember? Remember that?
Ancient Chinese secret. Yeah, I remember
ancient
that.
Chinese secret, huh? It was, was it Fab or Calcon?
Calgon. Yeah, it was Calgon.
Yeah, it was Calgon.
It was Calgon. It was Calgon. Yeah.
Anyway.
Fab, Calgon is for dishwashing liquid. Yeah.
No. Fab is a laundry detergent.
Yeah, Fab is laundry detergent. Calgon is the dishwasher.
Right.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Yeah, but if you're out of one, you can use for the other if you really have to.
Yeah.
Calgon is a dishwasher,
Yes,
so
true.
it wasn't Calgon. Because he was cleaning, it was the Chinese guy cleaning the shirts.
Okay. Okay.
We got it. Anyway.
Well, like it's soap is soap,
Well, I don't think they use dishwashing soap to do the shirts. Maybe that was the secret.
Okay, possibly. But I remember there was this one commercial. It was like blatant. It was really blatantly racist. They stopped playing because I guess a lot of people were complaining about it because like they saw the hidden message and stuff. Because there was, I remember very, very vividly. There was a Colombian coffee commercial.
Yeah.
Juan Valdez. And there was this white dude. He was at the store. Says, "Hello, I'm looking for Colombian coffee, 100% Colombian coffee." You know. And then all of a sudden, he walks through the aisle and see Juan Valdez. He says, "Buenos dias, senor. You know, how you doing?" And then he has this look on his face like, "How the hell did he get into this country?" You know.
Yeah.
Where is his green card? It's like, dang, how do you go from being I'm
looking
for some coffee, and then like, how did he get into this country? He's like pissed off. It's like, dang,
No. What was going through his mind was, where's the cocaine?
Yeah.
Where's the cocaine?
So Juan Valdez
would coffee. I want cocaine, Juan.
Oh, gee. I wasn't even thinking that. I wasn't even thinking that.
Anyway.
You would think, like, you looking for coffee and you see the guy in charge of the coffee. It's like, hey, Juan, hook me up with some beans, with some Java, you know.
Well,
but come on.
They hooked me up with some white powder. By the way, Tom, Dumpster Baby is talking to Tom. He says, Tom, is that sort of bullshit? He's talking about what Ed brought up, Islamicizing Obama, Islamicizing America.
Mm-hmm.
And Islam isn't against free speech. He said Turkey is one of the first secular societies with freedom of speech. Turkey is mostly Islamic. That is true. And right now, as a matter of fact, one of the stories I'm going to be breaking later, you guys, of course, already know, about what's happening in Turkey.
Yeah.
And I was telling you this morning before we got on the air that it's the only country that I've seen that kind of looks like us. I mean, the people, you know, you look at Iran and you look at all these other places, and they just look like, you know, homogenous societies.
Right.
And then you look at Turkey, and it looks pretty mixed up.
Pretty modern, yeah. I mean, I know a couple of guys from college. They were from some Turkey. At least two, three dudes. They were very friendly. Very friendly.
Again, they're a secular society, which is what's going on right now. And let's just go into that real quick.
Yeah, Mr. Dumpster Baby says, Tom, that is sort of the BS that has brainwashed America. Islam isn't against free speech. Turkey was one of the first secular societies with freedom of speech. Turkey was mostly Islamic.
Yeah, and they are. And so I'm going to read this really quick. We'll run through this story really quick. The trade unions, this is coming in this morning. The trade unions claiming 240,000 members are throwing their weight behind the anti-government demonstrations across Turkey. The KESK, Confederation of Public Sector Workers, was calling a 2-day strike against starting Tuesday to protest what is called the fascism in the governing party, Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who has become one of the focal points of demonstrators' anger. Now, this all started with this president or prime minister, whatever, wanting to tear up this local park that was well beloved and put in a parking lot and a building. This is how this shit started. Okay? And what people, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, where the people were already rumbling about his kind of military control over the people, now wanting to make Islam like, you know, everybody living by the standards of Islam, Islamicizing the country, and the country's going crazy because it's still a very secular country. There are still a lot of people there that are not Islamic. And the whole idea of Turkey was that Turkey was more of a neutral country. Yes, they allowed Islamists to be there, and they allowed everybody to be there, for the most part. And now this whole thing is turning on them. And so as the story goes, They have united demonstrators from across the political spectrum against a common foe. Security forces who unleashed tear gas and water cannons on them in response to what had been largely peaceful protests against Erdogan's government. Turkish Deputy Prime Minister Bülent Arınç on Tuesday apologized for the police aggression against our citizens who were involved in the initial protests and acted with environmental concern. Turkish semi-official Anadolu News Agency reported, but Arınç said, "I don't think we owe an apology to those who caused destruction on the streets and interfered with people's freedom." And so, you know, a lot of people are dying. They're fighting like mad over there. And,
Wow.
it's the shit that's happening.
Boy, talking about stuff hitting
You
the
know?
fan.
So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's look like it just seems like the bottom's about to fall out.
Well, Tom says, well, Turkey was secular thanks to the legacy of Ataturk, but the people are still a majority Muslim. Now, Islam in the mosque are very influential. So if you look for the cause of Erdogan getting elected, all of a sudden, I think we know where to look for the cause.
Edward Mumpa says, "We don't like your kind guests trying to pass yourself off as American." Says Turkey and Syria. I guess 667 says Turkey and Syria exchange fire.
Yep.
Wow.
Anyway, a lot going on around the world, and even the secular countries or the ones that were calm are now in an uproar. Shit.
Wow. Yeah, that is.
I think there's going to be a comet coming out of nowhere soon.
Possibly. I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put it past. I was just reading what it said.
Dumpster baby.
Dumpster baby. What? Yeah.
Yeah, he's saying a lot. He just said most Muslims aren't crazy. The government in Turkey wants to create division. Our governments are the same. We dehumanize Muslims when they're mostly against the extremist views. It would be like Muslims holding you to the standard of WBC.
I was reading what Fat Vinny said, which I did not know, that over 90% of the Planned Parenthood offices are in the inner cities. That's
Where, in Turkey?
No, I'm talking about here in America. Planned Parenthood offices. It says over 50% of all blacks conceived have been aborted since Roe v. Wade, I guess through Planned Parenthood and stuff. Yeah,
well, that's where the need is mostly. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, even like some of the issues that we talk about, these kids out of control and all that shit, is because parents don't know how to raise kids.
Yeah.
So Planned Parenthood isn't just about abortions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest.
Yeah, but the thing is, but it seems like all the bad stuff seems to be in the inner cities. You know what I mean? There's like 90%, over 90%. It's like if you ever went past. When I was driving back, going to your guys' place, it seems like every liquor store and guns. You realize that every Church's Chicken is right next door to a liquor store and a gun store. It's like, geez, like Church's Chicken, liquor store, pawn shop, gun store.
They go together
Church's
well.
Chicken, yeah.
Like rib and watermelon and sugar and coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanut
Jews and
butter.
matzo ball.
Yeah. Peanut butter and jelly.
Puerto Ricans and chickens.
Yeah.
No, rice and beans.
Rice and beans. Yeah, rice and beans.
Rice and beans.
Yeah.
Anyway. Photo guy says Planned Parenthood is about cancer testing and a whole lot of other non-abortion stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of cancer. Yeah, there's a lot of cancerous stuff. Speaking of, matter of fact, I have a story which really surprised me, shocked me. I had to talk about it. It really talks about. Remember when Chris Rock had this movie, documentary called Good Hair, about people getting a lot of where weaves is like $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
Because a lot of black women buy a lot of women in America, but a good number of African American women buy a lot of weaves of hair mostly from Asian women.
Yes.
And it's $1 billion business, in this.
Especially in the African American community.
Yes. But here's a story which really freaked me out about lace front wigs. It says lace front wigs are the leading cause of forehead cancer in African American women. It's like, I can't believe it. I mean, can you believe that? This is something I just found out about this a few hours ago.
Why don't you read the story, man?
Okay. Let's see. Saturday, March 29th, marked the day that researchers came to the conclusion that lace front wigs are the leading cause of forehead cancer in African American women. After years of studies, cancer has shown to be more prevalent in women who wear tightly laced wigs or lace front wigs because the abnormal cells that are able to form under the moist heat that is usually a result of overwearing the head ornaments.
Yeah.
Lace front wigs have long been a staple in the African American community, especially among inner city youth, and with the recent acceptance in the past few years by entertainers and celebrities alike. Says the amount of wig-wearing youngsters have increased threefold, said Cancer Center of America Representative Ronald DePino. Says when asked when people do to help the cause and hopefully prevent forehead cancer in a friend or family member, Dr. DePino reported, says snatch a wig, save a life.
He's locked up again. They can hear you?
Okay. Dr. Ronald DePino responded. He says basically, snatch a wig, save a life would be the campaign. But some reps would think something more aggressive should be like snatch a wig, save a bitch to reach the hip hop urban community, who will be vastly affected by this soon to be outbreak. But many are questioning the verbiage, including myself. Basically, we need your help, and if you have an idea or catchphrase that could be used, we're willing to reward you for your efforts to eradicate the spread of this forehead skin-eating disease. It says,
wow.
Basically, that's really bad. I mean,
and here's the problem with this. I mean, this may seem like a mundane story, but this is just as important as about wearing condoms so you don't get as a prevention for HIV/AIDS. I mean,
or chlamydia.
I mean, my God, you should put this picture up, my God, so people could see. This woman looks like the Elephant Man now.
What picture is it?
Derek's got it over here.
Yeah, I'm
Derek's gonna copy it, send it to you.
Put the link on the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do that.
Put the link on the chat and take a look at how horrible this cancer, what it does to your forehead.
Yeah, I mean, people have been talking about how basically wearing weaves and lace front wigs as an extension of that is basically just a hindrance of the natural hair that's growing on said woman's head, her natural hair, which is the reason why a good number of women, particularly a good number of African American women, go through a form of pattern baldness because they wear the wigs a whole lot. The weaves a whole lot.
You know who I'm thinking of, right? I'm thinking of Michael Felton. He's the guy that we brought up. He's a guy, and he dresses up as a woman.
Right.
And there's a picture.
Yes, there's a picture
of
the woman who has basically, wearing that lace front wig is very
it's horrible.
Very horrible. It's very rough on the skin, and obviously it just really, as you can tell from her hair, she has a receding hairline.
Yeah.
Just like it's it just basically accelerates pattern baldness on the women.
Yeah.
And it's really it's just
well, it looks like they literally snatched it off her head. I mean, and ripped her head off.
Well, yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, not to joke about it, but it's really bad.
Look, I'm not trying to be flippant here, but what I'm saying is how important the story is, because so many people in the black community, especially the women, spend hundreds of dollars. I've asked Michael,
billions
has told me,
of dollars.
But I'll tell you, Michael told me that he has paid for some of his wigs $400, $300. I'm like, for freaking hair, that's fake. And that he uses for about a month, and then a month later he's got a whole new setup.
Yeah,
going.
Matter of fact, Bean, you're right. If you have, it says they pay up to $2,000 to $3,000 for those weaves a year. Yeah, some a year.
Yeah.
If you ever seen the movie the documentary that Chris Rock made called Good Hair, he talks about that some women actually pay thousands of dollars individually just for fake hair.
That's great. Where do they get the money? I mean, and that's the point, that the women that wear this
there's
shit.
people that got money that they could wipe their butts with $100.
No, yeah, that's true, but then
It's just
there are
big
guys
money,
like,
they don't even know what to freaking do with it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that
you know what?
people
What
just
about a guy
people
like
just spend
Michael?
it
Michael's not a
foolishly.
billionaire, and he gets them on all the time. I know a lot of women that are just average women that live in a house. They got a couple of kids and blah blah
Well, how
blah.
about people
Single
that got
moms.
$200 sneakers and all this gold and gold and gold all over?
Even though the gold's
And
fake
they
as
sleep
hell.
on an air mattress and they got an iPhone 5.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they spend it on they spend it
And
on a real
they
bed.
got food stamps.
You know, I mean, that's a story. I mean, I knew a story back on BlackmanVent.com, Blackman Vent Radio, where one of the guys, Big Country, he was talking about there was this woman who was pissed off she didn't get her check, her EBT card, and then she was like, you know, they told her wait another week or so. Wow, jeez,
Damn, that's
Jeez
funny.
Louise.
I just saw your link there, Tom.
Hey, I seen it too.
That's great.
Wow.
Ed, do you have it?
Yeah.
Put it up. That's hysterical.
Talk about a real hair hat
Yeah.
right there. Yes.
I had a hair. Okay.
That's the way to do it, man.
But that is funny. There it is. Thank you,
I wonder
Tom.
if it keeps the rain and the sun out.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's a real hair hat right there.
It's like a duck haircut. It's like a
Yeah,
duck.
I mean, I know Tommy used to make a joke talking about hair hat at hooligans, but damn, that's real.
You know what? That would be a great hairstyle for one of these like fascist leaders to wear.
Yeah.
Be like going back to the days of the Pharaoh.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway,
Louise.
thank you, Tom, for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I guess we do need a laugh sometimes, though. But that is kind of yeah. I mean, but it's basically just people will foolishly spend their money on most frivolous stuff. I mean, just bad investments. Really bad investments.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
I mean, if you just basically just save, I mean, instead of paying $200 or $300 for a pair of sneakers, you just put that in stock in Reebok or Nike, and you could just get your own, you know, get a free pair or discount pair of sneakers. You know, you could save yourself so much money, and you know,
Put that up, Ed.
and make a profit at the same time. You know.
All right, now this is the outrage that's out there. Thank you very much, Haskell 420. I love this one.
Now this is better than sports.
Yeah, this is better than the last. This is better than sports. We're talking.
Well, look,
It's a good hair day or bad hair day, I should say.
depending who,
Ready
yeah.
for takeoff.
All right, here we go. Look at that. That's freaking unreal. It's a helicopter.
Dang.
You know, that may give some inventor a good idea.
My people.
Unfreaking believable.
Wow. ¿Por qué mi gente?
Unbelievable.
Why my people?
Tom says she can bomb me anytime. Fat Vinny says she looks like a porn star. Still a pretty girl. She's very pretty. There you
Oh,
go.
my-
There's
oh,
a nicer
jeez.
hairdo going back to the Flintstone.
Oh
And,
my goodness.
Anyway.
Sergeant, what was it? Fat Vinny said Sergeant Michelle on Natural. Oh my goodness. Guest 667 says
That's
Derek
funny.
stock market is a swindle, son. Well, somebody's
yeah.
making money off it. So I mean, come on. I mean,
Well, people make a big deal out of their hair. I mean,
You
look,
know.
I make a big deal because I ain't got hair.
yeah.
So I shave it mostly.
Mhm.
Right now, I haven't shaved, but soon I will. And then there are people like even Michelle Obama was a big deal when she did her little bang thing. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big deal. Everybody says, "Oh, she cut her hair, bangs, and all that." So somehow, hair is still like a status symbol.
Yeah.
But don't you think that some of these people OD on this shit?
Well, yeah.
They're so concerned with the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen guys mostly recently, especially, and girls look in the mirror like endlessly.
Yeah.
They walk in the store, they gotta look in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, not to go slightly off topic, but the thing about the hair, go crazy about the hair, and how it's $1 billion industry with the lace front wigs and the weaves and stuff. It's I think some dude on the, I think Tommy or some other person, Sergeant Willie Pete or somebody, actually had a theory that maybe the reason why the problems in the community are getting across, maybe because spending billions of dollars on hair is the reason why why maybe African American men and women can't get along, or said that maybe the chemicals in the hair, or maybe from curls or whatever like that, that some brothers still wear, S curl, or maybe some of the chemicals in where they're processed to make the weave look good or something like that. Maybe a form of bipolar. Maybe a form of bipolarism.
Maybe it is. Maybe
seeps into the skull, seeping into the skull or the scalp or whatnot.
Okay, I want to confess a story that actually happened to me.
Okay.
Okay, I went to Hair Club for Men in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I wanted to see what their signs was, because they were making, especially in Atlanta, it seems like they really OD on hair pieces and hair weaves and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to one of these. And the guy says that he's going to give me a free wig. Out of nowhere, he says, I'm going to give you a $400 treatment that would normally cost $400, but we're going to just give it to you and see what you think, and if you like it, whatever. So I got to wear one of the wigs for about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 weeks, and it looked great. It brought me back to my old days, because they gave me the style that I used to wear when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
So it was shocking. Of course, my church went crazy. They couldn't believe it. They said, "Where'd you get the hair?" They always knew me with a gigantic bald spot. So I walk into church one day and I got all my full head of hair. I swear to God.
Mm-hmm.
This is here in Georgia. And within 2 weeks, I start smelling something.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had to wash the wig basically you had to wet it down just about every day in order to comb it out. And I decided to take the wig off, and it was the freaking glue that was smelling up,
mm-hmm.
and it was basically starting to rot.
Ugh.
But it wasn't, you didn't see any mold or anything. You could just smell it. So I threw the freaking wig away. That's not a way to regain hair, as far as I'm concerned.
That's true.
These freaking wigs that they put on you. Nothing fake. Look. You put wigs on, you put anything on your skin, it could cause anything to happen.
Yeah.
Gotta cover that story. Free donuts, Krispy Kreme. I sent you the link.
Yeah, we'll cover that.
Okay.
I'm covering it now.
Okay.
DB Cooper says,
everybody get your free donuts.
DB Cooper says, I haven't heard that name in a long time, Sergeant Willie P. Yeah, he was a big guy. Before people heard of Tommy Sotomayor, the big guy, the dude who was the big urban voice on YouTube at the time, back was like 4 or 5 years ago, was Sergeant Willie Pete. He was and he used to get his channel banned all the time. You thought Tommy was controversial. This guy used to get his channel banned almost every week, because he was telling some stuff, the truth, that people really didn't want to hear, especially urban folks didn't want to hear, because because ignorance is bliss. And,
yeah, well, people get pissed off when you tell them the truth. The truth hurts, as they always say. By the way, DS Photo Guy says he has some puke wigs.
Puke wigs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it if you're wearing them. Unless you want to put a comb over around them. But
yeah,
do what you gotta do. That's
and
your choice.
Vinny, it is. And Fat Vinny says that. God, man, this shit keeps moving up. Fat Vinny says.
You can't stop the chat. It keeps moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wish Michelle Obama would do that. There was something else he said. Sorry, Fat Vinny, but this shit is moving around too quick on me here.
Hey, Fat Vinny just invited me to watch the morning roast.
Oh, really?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for advertising for us, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Dumpster Baby says, why use wigs? Guest says, 66 and Michelle Obama's an orangutan. Fat Vinny, the emphasis on human status that's the one, has become strictly based on looks. Let me see. But it ain't just one pair of $300 to $400. It's many pairs. I wish I had the money to buy shoes. That's true. The status symbol for guys is shoes, right? No.
It would be cars. And maybe, sneakers if you don't have a car.
Yeah.
but definitely sneakers, cars. Well, both.
Anyway,
Excuse me, I just
The
have
world
with my
is going
laptop.
crazy. They're so going crazy, they're navel gazing. You know what that means?
Navel gazing?
Navel gazing. They start looking at themselves too much.
Oh, okay.
Relax. It's not that serious. You know, you only got one life. Why spend it? Now, why spend it recklessly? I mean, if you find out that these wigs are no good and you're spending a lot of money on them,
yeah, thousands
don't
of
you
dollars.
think there's a problem with that?
Yeah, that's true. Some people say that not only it may be a problem of not a problem of getting maybe bipolar. If not that may be a reason why there may be a cause of some women getting fibroids and stuff because the chemicals reaching out there make them hard to have children supposedly. But you know, I guess you have to do your research on that and make sure you know if it's true. But that is really, I mean, it's really serious when it becomes that terrible.
Well, you know what? Guest 66 puts it in a nutshell. He says chemtrails, GMO foods, Florida,
among other things,
water, television, people's minds are eaten away. They are victims. It's not their fault. They can no longer use their God-given intelligence.
Yes,
I agree.
I had the beach ball of death on my Mac thing. That's like basically it just keeps on buffering for some reason.
Yeah, it's the spinning wheel of death.
Yeah, spinning wheel of death.
Wow.
Yeah, the swan.
Mm-hmm.
Like the blues.
It's all good. Anyway, moving on. I'm gonna talk. Well, we talked about the Turkish.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about the pit bulls.
Right. We talked about the pit bulls. Let me see. Somebody just brought something up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever. Let's see. Local news. Let's see what's happening on the local front.
Yes,
oh, here we go. Let's talk about that. We had a down tree. You know, we've been having remnants of those tornadoes. I mean, we're getting a very, very small tail end of it. Definitely. But we did have rains for about 3 days. We had flooding. Mm-hmm. And we also had trees down that caused a power outage here in Macon. And 1,400 Georgia Power customers lost power early Tuesday morning.
Early this morning, wow.
Yeah, Jacob Hawkins of Georgia Power says a tree fell on a power line in Macon's Riverside Drive area. Mm-hmm. He says that caused an issue with the breaker, which knocked power out to nearby customers. The outage affected the Coliseum Northside Hospital. The hospital told WMAZ that they did lose power and were running on a generator. Hawkins says crews restored power to the area shortly after 2 a.m. So even in Georgia, we're having issues. And by the way, that rain was pretty heavy.
Oh yeah, very heavy.
And we were just getting a little bit of what went through the Midwest, those horrible tornadoes that have destroyed the town of Moore.
And also parts of Oklahoma City.
Exactly.
Recently.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people without houses. I mean, could you imagine that? Like, experiencing that? Yeah. I mean, you could experience it through people. Watching it. By the way, there were 3 storm chasers also that were very famous. They were on Discovery Channel.
The Weather Channel.
They were known as the
Storm Chasers.
Storm Chasers, right. Mm-hmm. And those 3 guys are dead. And, I mean, it's really hit the heart of home, so to speak.
Yeah.
The middle of our country has been very affected by these tornadoes.
It's not over yet.
And it's not over yet. And now the hurricane season started June 1st. So Florida, get your ass ready.
Yeah, actually, I was about to say that. Actually, it started around back in last month.
Yeah,
and hurricane season continues on until November, because remember around I think it was like late October, early November they had Hurricane Hugo just came out of nowhere and just bam.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And of course, who can forget Hurricane Katrina that affected so much of the coast. Even Florida got hit. There was,
Louisiana,
Tampa and all that upper coastal states, I guess. Edward, Largo, where you are, I'm sure got hit. Mm-hmm. And just terrible. I mean, and they said that it's going to be, I believe, higher than usual on the hurricane. And the tornadoes are actually moderate. So I don't know.
Well,
Maybe they got
look
it
how hot
backwards.
it's getting here so early.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah, that's
even
the other
reaching the hundreds already here.
Yeah.
It's
No.
going to get worse in August.
Oh yeah.
It's going to get
I
worse
hate to think,
in July.
yeah, July and August. Yeah, it's going to get really hot. If it's already hitting 90 degrees now, and technically summer doesn't start until June 21st.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. By the way,
Imagine.
Edward, you weren't
Imagine.
living in Largo at that time. This was how many years ago, Katrina?
well, it's like 2005.
2005. So I don't even think you were in Florida yet. But maybe you know because the town, you would know, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So people would be talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I don't know. You know, we have. Oh, by the way, we have the fires in the west
Mm-hmm.
that are getting out of control just north of Los Angeles.
Right. Right.
They have all these fires that they can't even control. Thousands of houses over there are destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, name your poison, your natural disaster poison. If it's not
It's everywhere.
it's not an earthquake or tornado. Well, I don't think they have tornadoes in California, but
Yeah.
they do have. But they definitely have a lot of fires.
Well, they have cyclones.
cyclones.
In
which-
California, they would be known as cyclones. No?
Yeah. I guess that's a fancy name for tornado. But they also, if it's not that, it's usually a mudslide or a fire or earthquake or or tsunami.
Or tsunami. But speaking of the different turn, a cyclone, I believe, turns backwards
Oh, okay.
from where we're at. And I may be wrong on that, but-
Counterclockwise, yeah.
Counterclockwise. So,
Kind of like when hurricanes in that, the storms and the hurricanes in the Atlantic, in the Pacific Ocean, they're called typhoons.
yeah.
Yeah.
Firefly Phoenix, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
He says someone on my Facebook actually blamed Obama for all the tornadoes.
I was like, geez.
Yeah, he can cause them. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm still kind of, I mean, I know people talking about, what was it, NAFA? What you were talking about there? That supposedly some secret weapon to bring hurricanes and whatnot?
yeah, I heard about that. Actually,
Harp.
HARP.
yeah, HARP.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody just mentioned it. DB Cooper, HARP. In California, they are called El Niños.
Okay, El Niños, that's what it was. That's one of those.
Oh,
Like, if that
Sorry,
was...
Firefly.
If that was the case, I mean, how come? I want to know how come if it really, let's say if it really did exist. I mean, I know probably something that it does, but if it does, wouldn't you think we wouldn't have a drought? Well, we don't have the drought now because we had a whole
No,
lot of
actually,
rain.
they do have a drought. They have a drought that's going on in Colorado and
Colorado,
and
yeah.
in those areas. It's 4 or 5 states that are affected right now by very high temperatures and almost no humidity. And then it seems like all the rain is forming in the center of the United States, and that's where they're getting the tornadoes and the heavy rains and the hail and all that shit. And then on this side of the United States, they're getting big snowstorms up in the north, and of course here in Georgia, it seems almost like shit happened as
Yeah.
usual.
It's like, surprise! You got 90-degree weather. Oh yeah. By the way, you're gonna have some rain too, huh? It's like it's like a pop quiz in weather. Nordschnack, how you doing? Guten Tag. How are you? How are you doing in Germany?
Yeah, here we go.
It's 9:47 a.m.
Norchak is back. He's hasn't been on for a while. Welcome back.
That's from Germany.
I know it's getting warmer here in Macon. Wow, it's 77 so far. 77 degrees.
It's the only day without clouds and rain.
Yeah. And then tomorrow is going to be real. The rest of the week is going to be nothing but showers tomorrow.
Yep, and
So
that's
enjoy-
all that precipitation that's occurring that somehow people can't explain.
Yes. It's 77 degrees right out so far. 77 and sunny in Macon with a high of 88 and low of 70. I have a whole lot of stuff going on. Speaking of going through some changes right now. The former Buffalo Bills quarterback Jim Kelly is battling cancer.
Oh,
Yeah, but in Batavia, New York. Jim Kelly intends to deal with the cancer found in his upper jawbone, much like the Hall of Fame quarterback has approached many challenges in his life. He says you have to confront them head on, and this is just another one, Kelly said Monday after revealing he's been diagnosed with squamous cell carcinoma. Wow.
Wow.
Kelly drew upon his family, faith, and perseverance when facing major hurdles. He leaned on those strengths to help overcome the death of his son Hunter and his mother and whatever obstacles that stood in his way on the football field. Of course, he took the Buffalo Bills to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost all of them. So, talking about perseverance. I mean, yeah, if you could take the blame, if you could take perseverance and being jeered upon of taking your team to the Super Bowl and lose, I mean, shoot, Kansas should be nothing.
Right.
To a certain point of view there.
Well, let's see. I mean, he could lose.
Hopefully not in this game, the game of life. But,
I'm sorry. I hate to be so flippant about that.
Yeah, work on your timing. He says, "I'm down at the bottom, but I will rise to the top again." Kelly said, "He says I'm extremely."
Isn't that what he said to his team?
Yeah, in my road
before they lost.
He says, "I'm extremely confident in my road to recovery. I plan to tackle this challenge head on, as we Kellys always do."
Okay.
Doctors plan to remove part of Kelly's jaw during an operation at Buffalo Hospital on Friday this week. It won't be determined until after surgery will he require chemotherapy. The 53-year-old Kelly said that we called it a time as just another challenge for me, and I know I'll beat it. And the announcement was made shortly before the start of the former quarterback's 27th annual Kelly for Kids Charitable Foundation Celebrity Golf Tournament. Said the news of Kelly's condition immediately drew support from those attending the tournament, including receiver Andre Reed, Kelly's favorite target, who used to play with him on the team Buffalo Bills, called the quarterback a tough dude. Many pretty people know that he spent 11 seasons with the Bills before retiring the following. After 1996, he made it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2002.
Wow. Well, another celebrity with cancer. Yeah. Actually, I got something else we're going to go over very briefly. Some of the celebrities who currently have cancer.
Right.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sharon Jones, she's a singer, had to postpone plans to tour and release a new album with the Dap Kings after being diagnosed with stage 1 bile duct cancer. She's one of several stars who have battled cancer or been affected by the disease. Michael Douglas, as you know, had throat cancer. And Douglas told Today Show that his tumor was gone. And you know how he got it.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills quarterback Kelly is set to undergo surgery after being diagnosed with cancer of the upper jaw. Doctors have told me the prognosis for my recovery is very good.
As we just said.
And, of course, they're going to saw off half his jaw, I'm sure. And, Angelina Jolie
and also,
recently did undergone a preventative double mastectomy for her learning that she carries a mutation of the BRCA1 gene, whatever the hell that is, which is dealing with breast cancer.
Which possibly may be hereditary.
Yep, and Jolie's mother died of ovarian cancer in 2011. Christina Applegate had, you remember her from
Married with Children.
Married with Children, the cute little blonde girl there. She had bilateral mastectomy in 2008. Doctors had diagnosed her with cancer of the left breast and offered her options of radiation treatment, testing results for the removal of both breasts. Sheryl Crow underwent minimally invasive surgery in 2012. She had a non-cancerous tumor on her breast. Kiss band member Peter Criss sat down in 2009 after his battle with breast cancer.
Man can get breast cancer too. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, but
he looks like a woman though.
Well, he did wear a lot of makeup, but during
makeup, just a face,
Chris,
he looks like a woman trapped in a guy's body. All right.
Well, anyway, that's a good number to say the least. But I was just bringing that up because that was part of sports. You might.
And the last Good Morning America co-host, Robin Robbins, was cancer-free after 5 years. Suzanne Summers, you remember her. Olivia Newton-John, Melissa Estridge, Juliana Rancic, whoever the co-host. Actress Kathy Bates, you remember her from Misery.
Yeah.
And Kylie Minaj
Yes, Kylie Minogue, yeah, from Australian singer.
A lot of cancer. Seems like everything gives you cancer.
Seems so. It seems like maybe that's what gave Pacers cancer in Game 7. Of course, unless you were under a rock or don't have Sports Center, the Miami Heat beat the Indiana Pacers in Miami, as predicted, on Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. On the NBA, they beat them 99-76. LeBron James had, I think, 31 points in the game. I think 8 or 9 assists. So the Miami Heat is going to three-peat. They make their third consecutive appearance to the NBA Finals Championship, where they face their Western Conference rival, the San Antonio Spurs, who won their conference championship against the Memphis Grizzlies. They swept them 4-0. And they're going to be playing the first game of the NBA Finals Thursday night on ABC. You'll find they're going to be playing that in Miami, as a matter of fact. They're going to be playing a game in Miami. So that's going to be a wing-dang-dinger of a championship match.
Yeah.
That's all I have for basketball. Also, in NHL, their playoffs are also underway. They played the Bruins. They crushed the Penguins 6-1 in hockey last night. They put their lead to 2-0. So wow, they're trying to pull away. Game 3 is going to be tomorrow, June 5th. Yeah, tomorrow at 8:00 p.m. on NBC.
For all you
Sports.
NHL sports nuts out there.
Yep. Game 3 and Game 4 will be at Boston. Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Boston Bruins. If they're going to be at home now, if Boston already beat Pittsburgh 2-0, and they were at Pittsburgh. They stole 2 games from Pittsburgh? So
Possibly.
Do you think they may sweep them? Because the next Game 3 and Game 4 are going to be in Boston.
I mean, right now it's kind of lucid, don't you think? I mean,
I guess, yeah, anything could happen.
Anything can go.
Because Chicago Blackhawks, they were down a 3-1 deficit.
And they came back.
And they came back in Game 7. So you never know.
You never know. It's not over till the fat lady sing.
Yes.
And Yogi Berra said something.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't over till it's over.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense.
Speaking of which, excuse me, the Chicago Blackhawks is going to be playing their next game, I think tonight at 9:00 p.m. I think also on NBC Sports Channel. They're going to be playing against Chicago versus Los Angeles at Los Angeles. And Chicago has the lead series as well. They also have them blanked 2-0. And Game 3, which is tonight, they're going to be playing at LA. So maybe they have a chance to come up and win and keep from getting swept out of the championship. So far, it looks like it's going to be between Chicago and Boston, as far as the Stanley Cup championships are concerned.
Wow.
At least for now. Anything can happen, like you say. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. By the way, going back to the bird shit story that we were talking about, I remember the bird now. It was a hawk. They brought in hawks in New York. That's what it was.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, just to go back to that point.
Also, as Irv said briefly mentioned earlier in the show, Jason Kidd is retiring from the NBA after 19 seasons. He was part of the Dream Team, part of the Olympic team for the Olympic Games back in 2012, and they won their gold medal along with LeBron. Kidd won, he won an NBA title and 2 Olympic gold medals.
Yeah.
Second in the career list in assists and steals. Was a 10-time All-Star. He missed 22 of his 25 shots in the postseason and was scoreless in his final 10 playoff games shortly after turning 40. And he decided to walk away with 2 years and 2 years and more than $6 million left on the deal he signed last summer.
Really?
Yeah. His retirement comes 2 days after fellow 40-year-old Grant Hill, also, another NBA player whom Kim shared Rookie of the Year honors with in 1995, announced his retirement. So Jason Kidd and Grant Hill both also retired from the NBA today.
Wow.
This month.
Well, you know what? I mean, you think he left 2 years left on his contract, right?
Yes.
He's retiring early.
He helped them. Yeah, he helped the Dallas Mavericks win the 2011 NBA title.
Well, I'm sure that there was some kind of an agreement that if he decided to leave early, that he would get, you know, some amount compensation, irregardless.
Right.
So maybe he thought that was worth doing. You know, between $1 million and $2 million to some of these guys may not seem like a lot.
Right.
Like, it's not worth me getting up every day and worried about the season and this and that, all that stress. And since I'm one of the older players, I'm always going to be behind a microscope. You know what I mean? So I would think that's probably one of the reasons in his mind he decided, Jason Kidd decided to retire.
Yes. I don't know whether or not if Grant Hill was able to win a championship, though, but he was a very good player himself. Jason Kidd and congratulations both Jason Kidd and also Grant Hill for both retiring from the NBA after playing 19 seasons each, because they were both received an award for Rookie of the Year back in 1995. So that was
right. No, they feel they've done their duty already. Like, get off the court, take my money, and
hit on
retire.
Head on out to the sunset.
By the way, the guy that went after Justin Bieber for running his car through the subdivision.
Yeah, Keyshawn Jackson.
Is he still playing?
I don't know if he is. I don't think he is.
You don't think he is? Oh, that's different.
Yeah,
I thought you knew about everything.
Well, I think he retired. Well, I don't know everything. I mean, like,
you know,
but you know, he played. I'm still surprised. What really surprised me that Justin Bieber had a freaking. I said he had a Lamborghini. He was driving a Ferrari. Excuse me. Justin Bieber was driving a Ferrari, and Keyshawn Jackson was able to catch up with him in a Prius.
Yeah,
Prius. How do you? I mean, there must have been some rush hour in that neighborhood or something.
Let me tell you,
to catch
that
up,
son of a bitch was hitting that gas.
He must have been out there. Yeah, that Ferrari must have been on low gas or something.
Yeah, he's probably fingering himself.
Yeah, right. But anyway,
about that boy.
I saw something on TMZ yesterday where Keyshawn goes off on Justin Bieber on film, saying that Justin needs to talk to the district attorney and blah blah blah, and that he shouldn't be riding that way. And I got kids, and I'm there. And he was going off on Bieber.
Yeah, I would be. I mean, come on, you got parents. You just can't drive that way on a little cul-de-sac. Well, not cul with just a neighborhood like that. You just can't raise hell. I mean, but one more story before I finish sports. It's somewhat sports related. Oscar Pistorius is briefly back in court for hearing.
That's the guy that was the guy that's footless.
Yeah. Mr. Blade Runner. Yeah,
Blade Runner.
Yeah, Pistorius stood for his entire 15-minute court hearing on Tuesday in South Africa, staring straight ahead, hands clasped in front of him, and giving away little emotion as the world got its first close-up view of the double amputee Olympian and murder suspect in nearly 4 months. There was a stark contrast to the sobbing figure Pistorius presented through much of his bail hearing back in February of this year. Magistrate Daniel Thulare postponed the proceedings in Pretoria Magistrates Court until August 19th to allow police to complete their investigation into the Valentine's Day shooting death of his girlfriend, Reva Steenkamp. Yes.
It's such a horrible story. You know, he thought, he's allegedly saying, whatever he's saying, that he thought that he was all high or panicked or some bullshit. He was all nervous.
Yes.
And that he shot through the door. They actually have pictures of the bathroom with all the blood stains on it.
Yeah.
On the toilet bowl and everything on the floor. And you see the 2 bullet holes are taped up on the door. So he shot through the door.
Right.
The problem that I'm having with all this story is, why did he shoot through the door? Why couldn't he just, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. It seems to be somewhat premeditated, but all I know is that he must have reappeared at the Pretoria Magistrates Court on August 19th, and Pistorius' trial is not expected to start before September at the earliest, and is likely to be conducted in the High Court in Pretoria. And as you said, he's charged with premeditated murder in the killing of his girlfriend. Well,
this portion of the Morning Roast is brought to you by YouTube.
Yeah.
You getting paid for that?
I better be. Anyway, better
Maybe
be
you get a
YouTube.
free donut.
You're
Hey,
lucky
you know what?
we
I
get that.
see a lot of cops there getting their free donuts.
You know,
But,
speaking of YouTube, really quick, I monetize some of the videos, and people that watch it, you get shit. You get nothing. Monetize means you put a commercial ad, attach it to your video.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go through their commercial bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, both my channels you get monetization depend on what commercial of what type of video you have. But I'm not.
I mean, they throw whatever up there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no choice in what videos to put on there.
Well, I mean, it depends. But the thing is, I'm not getting that much. I mean, when you become partnered, you know, that's when you really start raking in the dough. Like Black Nerd Comedy and the Superwoman. Those who know who she's talking about, she has 500,000 subscribers.
Meanwhile, her show is great,
Yeah.
and I think she's a great comedian.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
she's
all,
funny and hot, you know.
She's funny and hot, but at the same time, she doesn't talk to her audience really.
Yeah.
There's no interaction going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's not live, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is time for a break, believe it or not. Yes.
10:04.
10:04 right now. It's 77 and sunny in Macon, with a high of 88 and a low of 80, high of 88, and a low of 70. And those who are in Macon, Georgia, enjoy the sunlight while you can. It's getting a little bit cloudy because it's going to be
raining.
It's going to be wet for the rest of this week. You're watching the Morning Roast live from the Nut House.
And we'll be right back, folks. Thanks for sticking around.
Don't touch that remote or mouse. That mouse.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this? How could a 10-year-old boy be so out of control that cops need to shock him with a stun gun? 2 police officers were called to a daycare in Martinsville, Indiana to handle this kid. They say the little boy was hitting and kicking his caretakers. He wouldn't obey. So one officer used a stun gun. Folks, this kid is some 94 pounds soaking wet. Was it necessary?
We want to get to the bottom of this. I will not tolerate unnecessary or unusual treatment of any suspect, regardless of age.
The police department put both officers on administrative duty, and they're investigating it all now. We're taking your calls, 877-TEL-HLN. And joining us now is former police detective Steve Cardian. He's a certified taser instructor. And Steve, I got to ask you right off the bat, couldn't they do this without this kind of force?
Well, Ryan, it's very possible, but we have to look at a couple of things. Number one, when you hear 94-pound, 10-year-old tasered by 2 police officers, automatically it sounds horrible. But you can't, as a law enforcement official, slice anything so thin that there aren't 2 sides to every story. And I have had children, young children, emotionally disturbed, under the influence of drugs, that exhibited an extreme amount of rage and strength.
But Steve, I got to jump in here. Aren't police officers trained to handle this kind of thing? Get them in certain locks, get them in a headlock, get near the kid, put him down, as opposed to having to tase him when he's only 94 pounds.
Yeah, no, and I understand. I hear you. I'm a use of force expert as well. 33 years in the martial arts, and I do understand one thing, that the possibility does exist that he was so out of control, and they didn't shoot him with the darts. They did what it's a compliant pain factor, where they did a dry stun, just as we're seeing up on the screen now. They dry stunned him, and that's a pain compliance. It doesn't send electronic 50,000 volts through his entire body.
Okay, so it doesn't have the same kind of pain threshold. What does it do to him long term? This is a 10-year-old boy. I'm worried that he might have some kind of personal, permanent damage going on here.
No long-term effects. Had they taken him down and the officers fell on top of him with all their weight, it's likely that he would have sustained some sort of broken bones. But with the implementation of the taser, it's a brief a moment of pain followed by likely compliance.
And give you some background on this. Apparently the cops were out there a little bit earlier, a couple months earlier. They had some problems with this boy before. Hey, let me ask you, Steve, is this becoming a normal way to handle out-of-control teens? We've been flashing stats and different incidents that have happened recently involving kids. I got some right here. Using a taser on a 10-year-old. The mother told the officer to do it. 43 children at a Take Your Sons and Daughters to Work Day. That was something that happened a little while ago. Is this something that's being employed often now?
Well, it's something that's being very sensationalized as a result of the use of the taser. And, I'd hate to see a couple or a handful of incidents taint what is a very, very effective law enforcement tool that saves many officers from injury and worse.
Okay, Steve Cardian, thank you so much. You know, I think about this kind of story, and I say to myself, all right, he's 94 pounds soaking wet, but you know what? Maybe kids are at that point where they're getting out of hand. Officers have to do something. But Steve, as you said, I would think they would have different holds, different things they can do to keep these kids in line. You never know. It's situation to situation. Thanks, Steve.
The Philadelphia Police Department has launched an investigation into an incident involving one of its officers after video showing the officer strike a woman was posted on YouTube. It happened during a Puerto Rican Day parade yesterday. Now keep an eye on the woman in a dark shirt on the left side of the screen. An officer in a white shirt appears to punch her in the face. Wow. Without warning. Should have told you how difficult that is to see. She's knocked down, then handcuffed. The video was posted this morning. A police department spokesperson says a full investigation is ongoing. He says it appears the woman threw water or something else in the direction of the officers right before he did that. The department's expected to make a decision later today on whether the officer will be placed on leave. The woman received a citation for disorderly conduct. We're going to stay on top of that story.
For the first time, we're seeing surveillance video of the takedown that left an Edmonds man in a coma. Mistaken identity sent deputies running after him. His family believes what happens next is a crime, but King County says it's not. There is no audio on this tape. Christopher Harris's family says the video speaks for itself. The 180-pound Harris shoved by the 270-pound deputy. To police, this is a takedown of a suspect gone terribly wrong.
We look at this as a tragic accident. Nothing more than that. When any of us come to work to begin our shift, we don't plan on hurting anybody.
Harris has been in a coma now since May 10th. His family doesn't accept the sheriff's office's explanation.
And I have no idea why Chris ran. But I think it's a horrible incident that was totally unnecessary.
And we believe that the actions of Deputy Paul were at best horribly brutal and at worst criminal.
Both the family and police agree there was a bloody fight in Belltown that night. These men caught on a store video camera were involved. Chris was not, but a store clerk pointed down the alley at Chris. He ran, and the deputy caught up.
If there aren't, guidelines related to this kind of process and not having it be a problem, I think people need to think really hard about that. They should be afraid for themselves and their family if they're out at night and somebody just points you out.
They had probable cause to arrest this guy for either robbery or stabbing based on what they were told. Probable cause.
The sheriff's office says the two deputies yelled police or sheriff 3 times. The family insists there had to be a better way to end that chase. The sheriff's office says a preliminary investigation shows no violations by the officers. Those findings, however, will be reviewed by Seattle police and the prosecutor.
Well.
Hey, did she just, Ryland, just that one I sent you about the handicapped woman?
Mm-hmm.
Did you cover that yet?
We're back.
Oh, actually, we'll go there right now.
Yeah,
okay. Okay. Yes, we're back. It's 10:11 right now on Eastern Daylight Savings Time in Macon, Georgia. It's 77 degrees in Macon with a high of 88 and a low of 77. You're watching the Morning Rose live from the Nut House.
Nut House. Well, interesting stories that we just saw.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, actually, if you all know, we've talked about her before, Elaine Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, just this morning, actually, she liked my comment on the story about a 10-year-old kid that was taken down by the police, I believe in Atlanta, and the kid was put in a headlock and things like that by the police. He's a little boy, 10 years old. I'm getting a little concerned about how police brutality has been taken a lot of precedence lately.
A lot. I mean, from Oscar Grant to from Oscar Grant to Junebug.
Yeah, Junebug, and we got other issues.
And other stuff.
But my comment was, this isn't anything new. This shit was happening in the Roman Empire had their own police, and they were crucifying people, beating the hell out of them.
And then the Greeks.
You have the Nazis.
The Assyrians.
And you had the KGB, I guess, in Russia, that they were, even though they...
Soviet Russia,
KGB is like the FBI, I guess, or CIA, rather. But they were still running the police department in Russia. You had the Southern white segregationists enforcing the law here in America during the 60s, where the police were really the frontliners on that.
40s, 50s, and 60s.
40s, 50s. And now today, you have just about every police department has this kind of bullshit issue.
Matter of fact, I think there's a story that I have. This is from the dailysheeple.com. There's a handicapped woman who calls 911 during a brutal beating by cops. Megan Graham, a Federal Way, Washington woman from Washington State, I see, called 911 to attempt to save herself from the cops who were beating her. Straight from the bully's playbook, the partially deaf and cognitively disabled woman has been charged with felony assault on an officer. Graham said that she had stopped at a friend's apartment building when a police officer pulled up behind her. She says that she responded politely but never heard the officer order her from his running vehicle to get back into her car. That's the point at which things got ugly, as the officer reportedly grabbed her roughly. She called 911 in hopes of getting other officers there to de-escalate the situation. Two police officers brutally beat the woman as she pleaded with 911 dispatcher for help.
Look at her face.
Yes, serious black eye. I think it may have the picture.
Does that have that link?
I think you gave me. Didn't you give me the link?
Put it on. Thing. Take a look at this woman's face. I mean, she doesn't even look.
If not, I'll just. Oh, you do? Okay.
I mean, this is.
Yes. Actually, it says two police. Luckily for Graham, the attack was caught on the 911 recording, and according to the news source, there's a part on there where she was being listened to. It says, I told the officer I had mental and hearing disabilities and didn't understand why he was trying to hurt me. I was hoping that other officers would show up to listen to de-escalate the situation, Graham said. Says in a 911 recording, Graham shouts at the officer, you attacked me before you said anything. There is no point whatsoever for you to touch me like that, especially with my condition. So how dare you even touch me? The officer is clearly heard repeating, you are under arrest. During the 911 call, another responding officer punched Graham several times in the face and is heard loudly ordering her repeatedly to stop resisting. I am not resisting, replied Graham. Graham says when an officer puts his weight on her hip, which she says was previously injured, she reacted by trying to flip over. Federal Way Police says she assaulted an officer during that struggle. Fenwick was an eyewitness to the assault by a cop. That woman was not resisting. I saw it. That woman doesn't have a violent bone in her body. She's got a heart of gold. If she would have understood the officer's commands in the first place, she would have absolutely complied with him. Yes.
Well, and it's so sad that this is happening even to women. I don't think that was a woman that gave her a shiner. I mean, some of these guys are wife beaters. I mean, that's what the kind of pool that we have now in hiring police officers. Because and I think it's almost like reverse psychology going on here. How do you stop the worst people in the world, which some of these police officers are dealing with, some of the lowest scum on the earth? You hire the lowest scum on the earth, right?
Yeah, because I guess they try to fight fire with fire, right?
Yeah, in other words, what did Anthony like to say all the time?
Eye for an eye?
An eye for an eye. So they get the same people that resemble very much the very people that they're going after to go after them. That's what I believe. It seems like some of these police officers are like the scum of the earth themselves. I'm serious.
Wow.
And that's what they hire. What do you think?
Yeah, but the thing that gets me is that they say that usually the former police officers used to be bullied in school, but I'm trying to think. You would think if you were bullied in school, you would 9 times out of 10 would be more empathetic to the to the underdog, to the person who gets run over. But I guess.
Well, oh hell, you're not gonna read the story.
Back at the world.
This goes to show you how bad it's getting. It's not just the police, by the way. The judicial process, I hear him making, you have to plead guilty in order to get out of that jail cell. If not, you're gonna sit in there and rot to hell, because some of the lawyers here won't even take up your case. They sit on them and they get paid for them for as long as they're in that file, right?
Right.
Now we got this judge in Michigan. Let's talk about this.
Yes, attorney ruling by Michigan judge lets Muslims silence Christians with violence, according to Examiner.com. On Tuesday, I guess it's today or this past Tuesday, federal judge Patrick J. Duggan dismissed a civil rights lawsuit by Christian evangelists who were violently assaulted by a hostile Muslim mob while preaching at an Arab festival last year in Dearborn, Michigan. The American Freedom Law Center said the AFLC filed a lawsuit against Wayne County, the Wayne County Sheriff, and 2 Wayne County deputy chiefs, alleging authorities refused to protect the Christians while threatening to arrest them. A 22-minute video showing the Christians being attacked and stoned as police watched went viral last year. Instead of controlling the crowd, authorities threatened to arrest the Christians under attack for disorderly conduct. Despite the video evidence, Judge Duggan, sitting in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan, granted Wayne County's motion for a summary judgment dismissing the lawsuit. AFLC said. The judge also denied a motion requesting the court issue an order preventing the Wayne County Sheriff and his deputies from restricting the Christian evangelists from displaying their banners and signs on the public sidewalks outside this year's Arab Festival, which is to be set to be held in June of this year. The court finds the actual demonstration of violence here and provided the requisite justification for the Wayne County Sheriff's intervention, even if the officials acted as they did, because the effect the speech had on the crowd, the judge said in his ruling. It says the First Amendment was dealt a severe blow today as a result of this ruling. Indeed, this ruling effectively empowers Muslims to silence Christian speech that they deem offensive by engaging in violence. And pursuant to this ruling, the Christian speakers are now subject to arrest for engaging in disorderly conduct on account of the Muslim hecklers' violent response to their speech, said Robert Muse, AFLC co-founder and senior counsel.
All right, so in a nutshell, what happened here? What did the judge, what do you think the effect is going to be?
Well, the effect is that I think it's going to be, at least if things continue, I think it's going to be like a short, abbreviated version of the Crusades in Michigan, pretty much.
But this time with the Muslims.
Yes. Well, yeah. Well,
they're playing the central role, right? They're playing the role that the Christians did back in the day, right? With the Inquisitions and all that other shit, right?
Yeah.
Am I right or am I wrong here?
Well, with what?
It's now in reverse. It's now the Muslims doing it. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. In this one, because they were having a program and you had Muslim hecklers and the Christian people were arrested.
Right. All right, well.
Which is strange to hear about in this post 9/11 day and age, you know? It was really, really different.
Well, guest says the truth is a bunch of alien races are brainwashing you all. Anyway, guest 60 says that Muslims come to America and then demand we change our society to conform with Sharia law.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. There was a couple of people that were accused of that.
Yeah. Turkish Jew said, blame Canada. Blame Canada. From that South Park animated movie.
Well.
Wow, but here I got some other stories. This was the story that I teased about earlier today, and even before so yesterday. At the end of yesterday's news, there was pictures revealed of a Maryland teacher having sex with a family dog.
That deserves a
Yes, that definitely deserves.
That's freaking freaky.
Yes, freaky is right. It definitely deserves a.
My God.
Oh yes.
This is crazy. This is like, I have to be honest with you, though. I swear to God. So help me if I'm lying. When I used to, this goes back to the day that zeal above knowledge, right? I would study the Bible with people.
Yeah.
And in order to bring out confession, which is part of the process that we would teach, you know, you got to confess everything and talk about everything. Not be afraid to do it, because that brings on healing.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask people if they ever had sex with animals. I swear to God. And I would say, did you ever have, because there were people that would not say anything, and meanwhile, they would stay with that guilt. So I gave them an opportunity down to the lowest denominator. I would ask them, were you ever a pedophile? Did you ever touch a kid? Did you ever have sex with animals? So help me God. So let's talk about this.
We'll go into this story, yes.
Okay.
Yes, a Maryland teacher has been busted for bestiality after sick footage emerged of her having sex with her family's pet dog, police said.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. Damn thing.
Yeah, that even the da-da doesn't even want that. They
want nothing to do with it.
Even that thing is speechless.
She was allegedly found photos and videos of her in the act. There you go.
Wow.
Thank you. Stephanie Michaels, age 45, allegedly engaged in a variety of sexual acts with the canine over a month-long period in August 2008. But she was only arrested earlier this year after Child Advocacy Center's officers searched her home on an unrelated matter and found pictures and video of the disgusting acts. Michaels, who looks after special needs students for Harford County School District, was charged with unnatural or perverted sexual practice.
Yeah.
She denies the allegations and has been suspended from her job pending the outcome of the case. If convicted, she faces up to 10 years in prison, and a $1,000 fine.
Wow.
The dog, reports, is still living with the family, and Michaels is out of jail on a $5,000 bond. Wow.
That's pretty wacky stuff.
Yeah, so the dog is still living there, and she's out on bond. So all I'm gonna say is, Fido, please remind her, no means no.
No sex.
Somebody needs our number.
So humans are now not only eating dogs, but they're having sex with them.
Yes,
Shit.
indeed.
I mean, that's a crazy society that we're living in, folks.
Yes.
By the way, Muslim guest 60 says Muslim males have homosexual tendencies. Gangs of Muslim males rape other males as a form of domination, just like a dog.
Yeah. But like I say, if you want to call into our show, the number is
Goats.
Yeah, but
478-254-6287, or as Ed said, I suck goats.
And repeat that number again.
478-254-6287.
Okay.
Or
Give us
I
a
suck
call.
goats.
Ed, you want to put the number up like you always do?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I've had it up there, man.
All right, that's all. Okay.
Yes.
Mikhail Douglas about sex. What?
Oh, Michael Douglas.
Michael.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean,
Wow.
I'm thinking about domination right now. Sex is dominating just about everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's always been dominating. It's been one of the biggest things. I mean, it's
maybe
the world's
that's what
oldest
these religious
profession.
people are seeing. I mean, the Muslims have their point of view. They have.
Well, certain.
Yeah, they have
certain
a
sects of
little
it.
bit discipline when it comes to like.
Yeah,
Well, I
discipline.
wouldn't say that about India, but you know.
Well, India, they're mostly Hindu. I
Yeah.
mean, there is a large Muslim population as well, but they have a plethora of religions.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are some who are Hindu, some who are Muslims, some who are Jainists, some who are Sikhs, and even a few are Christians, and even some that are Buddhists, and
Wow.
some are even atheists and agnostic as well. I have one other story I was trying to get into.
Bring it on.
Do the one I just sent you. I got a video.
Krispy Kreme?
I just got it from somebody here locally.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll definitely do that.
Let's do that.
Let's see.
And then go back to that story. That looks like a good story also.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Said that a cop was fired after dash cam video shows him running over a man not wearing a seatbelt. Wow.
Wow.
Says, knowing his dash cam was recording everything, a Florida cop did not hesitate to use his patrol car to follow a man 100 feet into an open field, plowing down a fence at 60 miles an hour before mowing down the fleeing man, killing him instantly. Wow. The man's crime, he was not wearing a seatbelt. It says the dash cam video, which has not been released, was apparently so graphic that DeLand Police Chief Bill Ridgway had no choice but to fire the officer. But only this time will tell whether James J.P. Harris will face murder charges. Which brings me to a question that, roll that beautiful bean footage.
Oh my God.
Disclaimer, this will be graphic.
The officer who ran over a man during a pursuit has been fired. Flash 2 News has learned the officer was terminated after the chief of police saw the officer's dash cam video. Jim Payne and now Jim, this incident happened earlier this month.
Yeah, on DeLand police officers were pursuing Marlon Brown just after midnight, May 8th, because he was seen driving without a seatbelt. Brown didn't stop, and DeLand units chased him into a field. Law enforcement sources tell Western News dramatic dash cam video from Officer J.P. Harris's patrol car shows him driving fast and running Brown down. Our sources say DeLand Police Chief Bill Ridgway saw the video at the state attorney's office today and terminated Harris. Chief Ridgway wrote in a news release in part, based on the totality of the circumstances and facts that I continually learn through the process of the investigation, I have now reached a threshold of knowledge where I feel compelled to take immediate action. Tonight we spoke with Brown's ex-wife and the mother of his children.
Wow.
We're looking for a lot more to be done. We actually want charges. Just the termination is not good enough, but it's a start. And we're definitely happy and confident that, justice will be served all the way to the end and that he will.
The Florida Highway Patrol is still investigating the crash and has not released the dash cam video, but a spokesman told us they should be finished in the next.
Well, what's there to say about that?
Well, I mean,
it seems like we're cop bashing, but we're not. We're just bringing up what stories that affect large communities.
Yes.
Because a cop is like an ambassador to the city.
Yes.
And when one of the ambassadors to the city...
You basically enforce the law which the citizenry abides to.
Exactly. And, the Bible says that we're all ambassadors. But these guys are high-profile ambassadors, aren't they? The police?
Yes.
They're leaders in our community. And when they mess up like this, somebody's got to call them out.
Yeah, it really puts a black eye on the city itself. Not just the
that's what I mean.
Police department, but the city as a whole.
And I think that's a thing that we're trying to bring about is we got to expose this kind of stuff because nobody else wants to do it because everybody complains that you bring all this bad news.
Yeah,
and you complain.
And the last thing you want to do is have your citizenry, your citizens and people just be in fear. They have to look over their shoulder over the cops as much as the robbers. You know, you have to look both over your shoulders. Yeah, both directions.
We get it in stereo.
Definitely, no question.
So that's why we bring up these stories, folks. I mean, just to make sure that and Edwin Manpa, I disagree with you. I think we can change it. We've already made changes.
Yes.
By exposing some of this corruption. And it'll continue. We actually had an impact on the city by exposing it.
Well, to go back to the story that coincided with the video, it says that the reason Brown, the victim, was fleeing, it was later revealed, was because he was driving with a suspended license and did not want to go to jail.
Right.
And also, there was no contraband in the car, ironically. And also, the victim, the 38-year-old man, was also the son of an Atlanta police officer. And it says, while it's never smart to flee from a cop, we can't ignore the fact that the cop drove 100 feet off the road through a backyard fence at 60 miles an hour to mow down a man who was suspected of not wearing a seatbelt. One is a traffic violation. The other is outright murder.
Yeah.
Which is according to the story. And, it's a sad it had to end like that. And it kind of makes me think that, do you think if that video or the cameras over at Kroger when Junebug was fatally shot, mortally wounded, if they would have had the actual real truth, you know, if they exist or if they're somewhere out, do you think it would have Sutton would have been terminated right on the spot the way this person was terminated? Well, maybe not on the spot.
Maybe not on the spot. I mean, this guy, he was terminated.
Yes.
But then you have others that are, you know, put on a probationary period
put
until
on leave,
GBI and whatever government is there, local government, depends on how good they work. But basically, the state will step in and take a look. This guy, this sheriff, or this police chief, fired this guy on the spot, so there's no question.
Yeah, because the video was so
The video was so...
Yeah, we couldn't even show it on there. That was so bad. The news people couldn't even show it. That's how terrible it was. It was that graphic.
I guess you want to be banned. Okay, goodbye. So, either way.
Yeah. Yeah, but speaking of cops, the story that Ed gave me, Krispy Kreme marks National Donut Day with free treat on June 7th. Krispy Kreme Donuts will celebrate National Donut Day on Friday, June 7th by offering one free donut to every visitor. No purchase required. Customers can choose one of any variety of donut, limit one per customer. Go to the Krispy Kreme website to see a list of participating locations. If anyone who's a fan of Krispy Kreme donut, you know, check them out and get one free donut.
Yeah, get a free donut. There's some good news.
Yes. Yes, if you happen to be a Dunkin' Donuts person, hey, don't hesitate.
Well, the only bad news about that, you're going to have a lot of cops there. So just go there and stay real cool.
And be peaceful.
And don't have a joint on you or a roach.
Yes. Not even
Don't have anything that smells like marijuana on you.
Yes. Yes.
And we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll go from there. Actually, here's the story that I was about to get into before airtime.
Yeah, go ahead.
More
police story.
Yeah, Warner Robins homeowner shoots and kills alleged intruder.
Oh.
Early Sunday morning, an alleged intruder was shot to death at a Warner Robins home. That's according to a news release from the Warner Robins Police Department. Ronald Lewis Burnett, age 36, was found by officers unconscious and lying on the ground outside the house of 205 Thomas Boulevard. He was taken to the Houston Medical Center and pronounced dead, having sustained an apparent gunshot wound to the chest. Officers were told that Burnett tried to break into the house and was shot by a 32-year-old homeowner, Travis Lucas, which happened around 1:25 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Neighbor Danielle Herring says she heard at least 6 gunshots but thought it was from a couple of streets away. When she realized it was her neighbor's home and saw police, she says she went outside to check things out. No other information has been released at this time because it's still an active, ongoing investigation.
Wow. Okay. Well, that person entered that person's home, right?
Yeah. He got in and got caught.
You know, I guess that is the justification that gun owners have. That they say,
and Bean says good.
Exactly. and I could see that. I mean, could you imagine that shit? A bunch of like, I guess killers who just come into your home like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty scary.
Very scary.
Yeah.
It's 10:36 a.m. I guess we could. Well, probably not just yet, but we do have some. We can go into trending now before we go into Wordsmith and Who Said It
Let's
First.
do trending, then we'll do birthdays. What's today's birthday, right?
Oh yeah, it's true. It's June 4th.
Yeah, let's look at birthdays. Who's birthdays today? The stars, the glitter, the idols, the people that became famous even though they shouldn't be.
Okay. Matter of fact, here's one. How's this the one to start off the June 4th birthday? Happy birthday wishes to cancer survivor and Academy Award winner Angelina Jolie. She turns 38 years old, the daughter of Jon Voight, who's married to Brad Pitt and have a plethora of kids. She's 38 years old today. Also, who turns 38 years old, British comedian Russell Brand, an actor known as offbeat sense of style and the former ex-husband to singer Katy Perry.
Yeah, he made some comment about in England about We did this thing with the Muslims.
Yeah. Molly King, age
Is that
26.
important?
She turns 26 years old today. She's an English singer from the girl group The Saturdays. I guess she's a weekend type of lady.
Yeah.
Bar Raffaele, she turns 28 years old today. Topped the 2012 Maxim Hot 100 list at number 1. I haven't seen that issue, unfortunately. Noah Wiley, best known as the dedicated Dr. John Carter on the TV show drama ER. He turns 42 years old today. Alyssa Miller, wow, okay, how about that? Alyssa Miller, age 23.
He says, how about that? If you look at a picture of her.
She's age 23.
Who gives a shit?
She's a fashion model, done work for Vogue Elle, one of the Sports Illustrated calendar girls. Okay.
Morning Rose? Hello? Don't start.
You want to put the number up?
All right, well, there you go. Go ahead.
Well, okay, going back to our birthdays. Michelle Phillips, she turned 69 years old today. She was a member of the Mamas and the Papas, who acted in several films. Also, she's the daughter of I think China Phillips. I think one of the members of Wilson Phillips, the group Wilson Phillips.
Okay.
Joyce Meyer, the Christian author and preacher, motivational speaker, female preacher. She turned 70 years old today.
Wonder why they don't have a picture of her.
I don't know. I guess they ran out of editing or something.
She's the most famous face around on Facebook.
Yeah, Dr. Ruth Westheimer, German-born therapist on Sexually
she's still
Speaking
around,
radio show. Yeah, she turns 85 today. Yes.
Wow.
Parker Stevenson, veteran actor, the ex of Kirstie Alley.
I remember him.
He was first introduced as Frank Hardy on the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew Mysteries back in the 70s. He turned 62 years old today. Bruce Dern, Laura Dern's father, an actor who played in volatile characters, turned 77 years old today. Dennis Weaver, who played in McCloud, began as Deputy Chester on Gunsmoke.
But he's dead.
He's dead. He was born on this day in 1924. Jordan Bratman, music executive, known for marrying pop star Christina Aguilera, turns 36 years old. Sam Harris, a Broadway singer-actor who won the first ever Star Search, he turns 52 years old today. Jordan Henson played the role of Caitlin Kingsford in Disney original ice skating film Go Figure, turns 21 today. Elda Barge, wow, singer of the soul and R&B group DeBarge, popular during the Motown era during the 80s. He turns 52 years old.
Wow,
today.
that's old. He's older than me.
Yeah, even.
All right, guys, if you're gonna call, please stay on the phone. Say something. If not, we're gonna disconnect the phone. Morning Rose.
Morning Rose page.
Oh.
Hello. No, it's some recording. It's okay. It's probably, I got that number. Leave the number up.
Okay. We have some other players. Scott Wolf, American television actor, known for roles in the late 1990s and early 2000s. He was on that show Party of Five back on Fox Network back during the 90s. Also, Horatio Sands. He's a former Saturday Night Live cast member who was on the show for 9 years and later appeared in the Comedy Central TV show Big Lake. He turns 44 years old. Jordan White, 25 years old, turned 25 years old. He's an NFL wide receiver for the New York Jets. Also, King George of Britain. He was born on this date in 1738, died in 1820. Also, who was another one? Keith David. You never hear that. You rarely hear him, but you definitely know his voice. He does the voiceovers for the Navy commercials. Deep voice supporting actor, is known for his roles in Platoon and Crash. Wow. And also played Cameron Diaz's stepdad in There's Something About Mary, the black guy, the black stepdad. Also, Katie Smith, WNBA guard, won an NBA title. She's 39 years old. Kelly Moneymaker, wife of Days of Our Lives actor who joined the vocal group Expose. She's turned 43.
Okay, couple more. What, folks? Anything, Ed?
No, who is this? Who is this?
Okay, well, you know what? Putting up the phone is dangerous.
Yes.
All right, a couple more.
I got a couple. Okay, we have Andrea Jaeger. She's a former #2 women's tennis player whose career was cut short by injuries at the age of 19. She was a young rising star back during the early 80s. She turns 48 years old today. And also one more, the legendary and former one of the members of the Four Horsemen, Barry Windham. Woo! Age 53.
Who the hell is that?
Barry Windham. He's an NWA and WCW heavyweight champion. Won several titles and tag team titles and memorable battles with the likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Lex Luger. Turns 53 years old today.
Oh, well, happy birthday to you all.
Woo! Yes, even the ones who play in fake sports too.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was somebody wanted to know if we had toilet paper. I said no.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Well.
Well, here's some.
I like when people come in your house and say, "You got a bathroom?" No, we shit in the backyard.
No, we got an outhouse. You want to go in now?
We shit in the backyard.
That is funny.
We use bark.
Or can I use your bathroom? Like we're gonna say no.
Mm-hmm.
Use the sink.
Yeah. Well, here's some trending now from Yahoo.com.
The trend.
Yes, for the top 10 stories that are on Yahoo.com, the search engine that's been around since the 90s.
And you guys make a choice. First one on the screen gets it.
Okay, number 10, the Disneyland price hike is number 10. Number 9 is the Game of Thrones. Number 8 is Teen Wolf. Number 7 is Disney price hike, which is kind of mixed, which is basically the same thing. So if you pick 7, it also counts as number 10. Number 6 is Egypt Pyramids warning. Number 5 is Transgender Navy SEAL. Wow. Number 4 is Taco Bell employee. Number 3, Dwight Howard. Number 2, Deacon Jones dies. And number 1, Jim Kelly.
All right, we talked about Deacon Jones. So
we can't use
minus
number 2.
Deacon Jones.
And number 1, Jill, well, unless she's the wife of Jim Kelly. Yeah. Number 2. Yeah, you can't use number 2. You could pick all the other ones except number 2, and 7 and 10 will be pretty much the same thing.
Okay, we got which one of the Disney's a ripoff? My brother said Transgender Navy SEAL.
Okay, Transgender Navy.
Yeah, that's got 66, and then we'll talk about Disneyland, I guess, next. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, Disneyland is awesome. Rosalind Nicole says she's going there for Deaf Awareness Day. Okay, we'll go into that. Transgender Navy SEAL. Wow, this is going to be a wing dang doodle.
Yeah, let's take a look at this story.
Yes.
We had the transgender, by the way, cartoon that we showed a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, she's out. Yeah.
Yeah, she's out.
Yes, it seems that there's a story here. A former member of the elite U.S. Navy SEALs has come out to say she is now a woman.
Unfreaking real.
Kristen Beck, formerly Chris Beck, served 20 years as a SEAL and fought on some of the most dangerous battlefields in the world. But after she left the service, she realized she wasn't living the life she wanted. Chris really wanted to be a girl and felt that she was a girl and consolidated that identity very early in childhood, said Ann Speckert, co-author of Beck's biography, Warrior Princess.
Could you send that to Ed?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Send that to Ed. Take a look at this, folks.
And see for
you
yourself.
have a before and after picture of this guy.
Definitely.
What we're talking about here.
Yeah, great idea. Okay, getting back to the story. She said that Speckert told ABC News Beck suppressed that secret for decades. However, through the trials of SEAL training and the harrowing missions that followed, growing a burly beard as she fought on the front lines of American Special Operations, Brandon Webb, a former SEAL who served on a different SEAL team than Beck, said that Beck's reputation in the SEALs was a good one and said she was, by all appearances, the consummate guy's guy. But the book says that Chris had considered living as the woman he felt himself to be for a very long time, but for a while he was serving as a SEAL, he couldn't do it. For years, Chris had turned off his sexuality like a light switch, then lived as a warrior consumed with the battle, living basically asexual. For Chris, the other SEALs were brothers, and in the man's man warrior lifestyle, even if he had wanted to entertain sexual thoughts, there really was never any time to be thinking too much about sexuality, according to the book. After his retirement in 2011,
there we go.
He now seems to be the right time to go for it, to make his body match his identity, or at least start by dressing like a woman in his regular life. Speckert said that Beck first announced her decision to friends online with the declaration, "No more disguises." The book describes her going out to gay bars in Florida as a woman. Beck is currently on hormone therapy in preparation for sexual reassignment surgery and generally wears long hair, makeup, and women's clothes.
Wow. Well, Guest 66 says he changed his sex in the line of duty. And
Mr. Dumpster Baby says, Guy was a seal. If he wants to live his life as a dog, let him. Guy's a hero in my opinion.
The Bean says, bet that one is a tough ass broad now.
Yeah, I'm quite sure. I mean,
and you're right,
those 12 ways to kill you. You know.
You're right, Guest 89. I'm considering vaping.
Vaping is new planking.
But I appreciate you being concerned about my health here.
Yes.
All right, not attractive at all. Yes, 89 says. And then Dumpster Baby said, Guy was a seal, and if he wanted to live as a dog, let him. Guy's a hero, in my opinion.
I just mentioned that.
Yes, 66 cut off his penis. Oh, his tits, right? Cancer risk.
Wow. Goodness gracious. That's kind of, yeah, I mean, but you can tell he's a dude because you can see the Adam's apple right here.
Well, I mean, look, he looks like Herman Munster.
In drag.
With long hair.
Dang.
Remember when Herman played, like, his sex turned into a woman? He was dressed up in a house dress and all that shit.
Yeah.
Remember that episode?
Yeah, that was a creepy one.
Yeah. Anyway.
What was the one they were talking about? Oh, yeah, I think she, Roslyn, she was talking about, the other one was the Disney price hike, yeah.
Yeah. Edward Mamper says she's a ladies' man.
Yeah, for real.
She's a ladies' man's man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Here's the story we were talking about, the Disney price hike.
Right.
It says a Disney price hike was going to affect both parks. Disney price hike has taken place on all Disney park tickets, whether you visit the one in Florida or the one in California, Disneyland or Disney World. It says on June 3rd, the news source reported it is going to cost people a few extra bucks to enter the popular music parks this summer and beyond. It says an adult single-day ticket at Disney World will now cost $95.
You know what? Disney World can kiss my ass.
A ticket to Disneyland will run you to $92 per day. These prices are up 6% from 2012. It's like, geez, we're watching your movies, we've seen you on TV, we got cable, Disney Channel, now you want
well, not only that,
tickets.
but they have a security problem. They had a vendor put in and try to create a bomb recently.
Wow.
In the garbage can. I mean,
It's
they can't
sad.
even. Never mind.
I mean, it's sad. When you think about it, I mean, it says
they need security.
The spokesman Brian Malanias explained about our ticket to our theme parks represents a great value, particularly when you look at the breadth and quality of attractions and entertainment we offer at the special moments guests experience with our cast. Okay, whatever. The Disney price hike might not seem like a ton of money, but a family of four will be affected significantly. It will now cost about over $350 just to go to one park just for one day. I mean, Universal Studios is even more expensive. I mean, a one-day ticket costing $128.
You know, what started out as a good idea is ending up
breaking families.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, literally like brainwashing people now, and causing a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Years later, of course. During the old days, you lived off of Disney. You lived, eat, shit, breathe Disney.
Yeah.
Right?
When you were a kid.
Especially you were a kid. So you were indoctrinated with Disney.
Right.
While you were a kid.
Exactly.
And now they're having literally problems that could have been avoided if people wouldn't suck up to some of these companies like they do and provide them all this wealth. Just like Nike sneakers and everything else that's out there right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Disney sells everything. Think about it. They sell cups. They sell
shirts, caps,
hats, shoes. What else?
DVDs.
Yeah, DVDs. Porcelain figures of freaking
action figures, toys, stuff,
cartoons.
Toys. Yeah, cartoons.
Movies.
Costumes.
What else?
Food.
Food.
Yeah, because you got Disney.
Of course, rides, entertainment.
I mean, my goodness.
I mean, they got us by the balls.
Yeah, and other parts too.
That big freaking rat has become a real rat for sure.
Yeah, yeah. A rat. Yeah, a big rat.
A big ass rat in your house.
Yes.
Can't even stop it.
Mm-hmm.
And now they took over Star Wars and the Muppets.
Yeah.
And what else?
Marvel.
They're like freaking Nazis. I think they're taking over the country.
Marvel Comics.
And they're putting out all these movies about the end of the world.
Yes, and a big mouse.
I think somebody's in control that we don't know about.
A big mouse will control them. Hi, everybody.
I have a conspiracy theory.
We're just kind of messed up anyway, because you realize Mickey Mouse also has a dog for a pet and a dog for his friend. Very interesting.
Well, there's just something fishy about all this.
Yeah. About Mickey Mouse having a best friend as a dog and also has a dog as his pet. Because Goofy can talk. Like,
yeah.
What's going on, Mickey?
Well, what message do you think that was sending?
Basically,
because everything sends a message.
Well, basically, it's like he is a way that someday I will own you too, Goofy. And you don't believe me? Ask Pluto. But of course, Pluto can't answer because he's a dog. He's the other one. He can't talk, but Goofy can for now.
There's just something fishy about this Disney thing. Yes. It's taking over our lives. It's worse than the Obama administration.
Well, anyway, since we have less than 10 minutes, we'll go into Who Said It First and also the Wordsmith. I'll go into this right here. Who Said It First? Believe it or not, who said this first? A nerd. Wow. Is this both? Who Said It First and also a wordsmith as well? Because this seems like a nerd term.
Whatever.
Either way. The word nerd in contemporary times, a nerd is generally perceived as a person with an obsessively narrow focus on certain intellectual or technological matters to the exclusion of ordinary activities and social graces. Basically, a person who's socially inept. And
right, it sounds like
a local nerd here. Yes,
okay.
Nerds are not necessarily admired, whereas a geek is a person who has advanced knowledge but more relaxed attitude to other aspects of life. Most people owns a computer or are happy to have a geek as a friend. Basically, a nerd is basically a misfit geek, so to speak.
Okay.
The first known appearance of the word nerd in print, which launched its growth into international use, was in the story If I Ran the Zoo, circa 1950, by author Dr. Seuss, children's author Dr. Seuss, in which a character proclaims, "I'll sail to Katroo and bring back a Itkutch, a Preep and a Prue, a Nerky, a Nerd, and a seersucker, Tool." The story was illustrated with a grumpy-looking android, not particular about personal grooming. So how about that?
How about that? Even in Dr. Seuss, it had a message. See, that's why I ask you, what does Pluto and Goofy? What do you think the connection was there? Because Dr. Seuss did it, where he, hid messages. And even if you look at the old Bugs Bunny cartoon, there were things said there that will go over anybody's head. They had imitations of Hitler. They had imitations of, and they would say things. Bugs Bunny would hold up a sign that said something.
Have a picture of a screw and a baseball screwball.
There was always a mess.
Yeah, well,
no, but that related to that time and era.
Okay.
That related to that.
But I think that's pretty much the same. But like I said, I think there's a hidden message between Mickey Mouse, between the connection between Pluto and Goofy. It's like he owns Pluto, who's his pet dog, who doesn't talk, but his best friend is Goofy, who talks but is also a dog.
Maybe it doesn't mean anything because after all, Mickey Mouse is a mouse. He's a mouse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So wait a minute. I think that may send a religious message. I just thought of that. The meek shall inherit the earth.
But did they say that the meek would be a rodent?
Between the dog and the rat and the mouse, the dog is more
protective.
No, he's just a bigger animal. He's more relevant than a rat.
Yeah.
A rat is really an object of wrath.
Yeah, but dogs are known as being protectors since cats and mice don't get along.
I'm not talking about protection. I'm talking about religious context to this.
Well,
Think
yeah.
about it. The rat is the lowest denominator between those three.
Yes.
Okay, and then Goofy is better than
Pluto.
Pluto because Goofy
can walk upright.
Can walk.
He can talk.
Right. And so he's the second meekest guy.
Yeah.
But yet Pluto still has, the little dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pluto still has some relevance and love from the people who watch these cartoons.
Well, yeah.
Because he's the meekest of the meek.
Yeah, because dogs are, they protect us. They're watchdogs and stuff, and they hate cats. And cats are also are arch enemies to mice. Going back to Mickey, see cat, mice, cat, dog. Because cats are evil. I mean, I'm just saying.
Maybe that's the message that these hobos were sending out. These cartoonists.
Yeah. See, that makes sense. See, Tweety and Sylvester. See, right there. Oh, here's the word. The word origins. I found it is occupy. That's today's word of the day. From John Ato. Thank you, Ed. Occupy comes from via Anglo-Norman occupier, from Latin occupare, seize, a compound verb formed from the intensive prefix ob and capere, take. Source of English, capture, chase, etc. In the 16th and 17th centuries, it was used in English for have sex with, as in King Edwin occupy Alfgifa, his concubine. John Bell Voltaires in 1546, and fell temporarily out of polite usage as Doll Tearsheet complained in Shakespeare's Second Henry V in 1597. A captain, God's light, these villains will make the word captain as odious as the word occupy, which was an excellent good word before it was ill-sorted. So that's our word of the day from Word Origins, the word occupy.
Very good.
From John Ato.
And
I guess it's almost that time.
Finally, we're going to go to Daily Bread. Daily Bread for today, June 4th, 2013, is written by Davis C. McClaslin. We've read about him before. And title of this is Pressing On. Pressing On. At a Christian men's conference, I talked with a longtime friend who has encouraged and mentored me for many years. With him were two young men from China, new to their faith and deeply grateful for this man's faithful friendship and spiritual help. My friend Clyde, nearly 80 years of age, glowed with enthusiasm as he said, "I've never been more excited about knowing and loving Christ than I am today." This is a guy 80 years old now talking. Paul's letter to the Philippians reveals a heart of purpose that never diminished with time, that I may know him in the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings, being conformed to his death, Philippians 3:10. From the root of Paul's relationship with Jesus came the fruit of his undiminished fervor, that others be guided in faith in him. He rejoiced to share the gospel and was encouraged that he became bolder because of him. Verse 1, 12 to 14. Our goal is to merely service for the Lord. We may burn out somewhere along the line, but if our purpose, like Paul's and Clyde's and many others, is to know Christ and love him, we'll find that he gives us the strength and makes him known to others. Let us joyfully press on in the strength God gives. Father God, I want you to know you and all your fullness and to love you completely. I believe that relationship with you is the basis for my service for you. Help me not to serve out of my own strength, learn from Christ, and then make him known. And the scripture for today is Philippians 3:10, that I may know him and the power of his resurrection and the fellowship of his sufferings.
And there you have it. There you have it.
That'll be on our Morning Roast Facebook page, also on my Facebook page, if you guys want to download it, follow up.
We want to thank everybody, all the people that were on the show today. DS Photo Guy, Edward Mampa, Gecko Lizard, Rosalind Nicole, The Bean, Acid DJ, Analyzing Funny, Ashley 34, Callie Val, Funky Dillo, Hey J 31, Mr. 9909, Mr. Dumpster Baby, whew, Prank Mania Pranks, A Rush 2929,
Thank
Steven,
you all.
The Morning Roast Tom, and all our guests, guest 43, 608, 602, 647, 648, 667, 856, 85644, and 89209021. Wow.
Yeah, we were number one for most of the show.
Well, not bad as number two.
We're number two now, but people know they have to go and all that. It's a 3-hour show.
Yeah, I mean, many things. I also want to thank Because77, who was here earlier today, and also Rosalind Nicole, who just left, and also Donnie Curry, who was also here earlier.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching us.
Thank you, Edward.
Edward Mamba says, forgive Derek for wearing a Boston. It's not Boston, it's Brooklyn. Brooklyn Dodgers, not Boston Red Sox.
Thank you, Bean. Thank you so much. Thank our guests. Next time, come in with a name.
Yeah, come in with a name. Guests don't wear. Yeah.
We don't bite.
We don't bite. Yeah, I mean, as guests, it sounds like you're a convict or something, like you're just trying to escape Shawshank or something. But anyway, it's 11:03 a.m. right now. It's 81 degrees. 81 degrees outside of Macon, Georgia, with a high of 88 and low of 70. Enjoy the sunlight enjoy the sunshine, because it's going to be very, very wet the rest of the week.
The rest of the week.
Yeah,
you
the
sounded
rest
like
of the
Tweety
week.
Bird.
Yeah.
The west of the week.
The west of the week.
Try to do it like no, that's not.
That's Elmer Fudd.
That's Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
You got your voices all screwed.
Yeah, something like that. Well, anyway, we hope you see you tomorrow, and check us tomorrow for Hump Day Wednesday. Can you smell what the roast is brewing? Check us out tomorrow. On behalf of Irv, Ed, and DB, well, you know who I am. You know who we are. We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya. That's all, folks.